Hey guys, this is Winsky. Welcome to my Let's Play of Raging Loop. I've heard a few things about this game here and there. I really don't know much about it, but it just seems like all I know is that there has a mechanism of like looping or time looping. It's a visual novel, story-based game, and I don't know, but I really like any like time travel, time looping games, so I thought this was right up my alley, and yeah, let's get right into it. I have no idea what this entails, but I am excited. Oh, okay.
ようこそノベルアドベンチャーゲームレイジングループの世界へ
Hold up. I want to make this English. I love Japanese voice acting, but I just want to make it English, so like, you know, I can just so we can understand better. Give me a second to figure out the settings. Gotta go back to the menu again, man. Title. No, menu title. Options. Text speed, text box. What does this even mean? Please use only if unforeseen circumstances such as data deletion. I see. This is probably, yeah, I know what this is, okay. Yo, what is end? Oh, I see. This album. I see all my endings, which I haven't done right now. It's extra. Tell me they don't have a English version? Give me one moment. I'll figure some things out. We're getting stuck already before the game even started. This is hilarious. You know what? I tried Googling if there's an English dub, but like the English voice acting, I just can't find it. Like, maybe they don't have it. Which is quite tragic if you ask me. Cause why wouldn't I have English VA? That's okay. Oh, I guess I will load the tutorial that I never got to start.
ようこそノベルアドベンチャーゲームレイジングループの世界へ私は単なるどれに足らないインターフェース的キャラクターです。そうですね。リカコとでもお呼びください。
So I'm just like, should I just let her read it out in Japanese and you guys can read the text, or should I just read it again?
ここでは初めてプレイなさる皆様にこのゲームの遊び方を簡単にご説明いたしたいと存じます。
You're most likely playing this game for the first time, and I'm here to explain a few things about it.
いくつか変わったところのあるゲームですので、最初はぜひとも全部の説明をお読みいただきたいと思います。
This work is quite strange, you see. It's recommended that the uninitiated take some time to read everything here.
特に動画配信をなさる方は4動画やシェアについてだけでも必ずお読みください。最後まで読んでいただけたら私のセクシーな画像が見られません。世間は厳しゅうございます。
Something about the video rules. Like, I'll have to look at that. If you read until the end, you'll find a sexy CG of me doesn't exist. We truly do live in a society, a harsh society. How sad. Okay, I see what she did
何からご
there.
説明いたしましょう。
Now, where should I begin? Well, let me look at video sharing first.
レイジングループはノベルゲーム。物語や展開やオチはとても大事。
Raging Loop is a visual novel, meaning that the story, events, and conclusions are very important.
ですから、それらすべてを配信されてしまいますと、とても困ってしまいます。ザメザメ。 サメ
No,
サメ。
can I not upload the game? Because of this, it would be very troubling if someone uploaded everything to the internet. I'd be sad, very sad.
かといって、お楽しみは大勢で分け合いたいもの。それは重々承知しております。
Then again, we do understand those who want to enjoy the work with many other people.
というわけで、私どもは動画配信していただける範囲を設定しております。
Because of this, we have a set of guideline of how far we would like you to upload.
ちなみにその範囲は、最初のメインルート丸ごと1本、プラスアルファ。
This range covers the whole first main route and a little extra.
具体的には、シナリオチャート上の4、潜入の9、入村方法は、で、選択肢が出るまでが配信可能範囲です。
Very interesting. I guess they have a specific point where I can't upload the video anymore. I'm gonna see what I can do up till that point. Like if I make the video private or something, I'll see what other people have done. That's so sad. I understand when developers do this, so they don't want to spoil the game. I get that. Specifically, you can only upload until the choice at 4, Infiltration, Q, Entering the Village.
相当な長さがございますので、配信のネタにしばらく困ることはないと保証いたします。
That's a lot. Just so you know, I'm sure you'll have enough content for your upload.
むしろ、全文読み上げる派の配信主様は、喉が潰れないか心配です。
Oh
無理は
god.
なさらず、ゆったりお楽しみくださいね。
I actually think it's a bit too much. Uploaders who read everything out loud might get a sore throat. Please don't overdo yourselves, alright?
ちなみに、動画配信の折には、お知らせ機能をぜひともご利用くださいませ。
Also, if you intend to upload, please use the reminder function.
この後現れる選択肢で、お知らせ機能をオンにしていただいた場合、
If you have it set on,
動画配信終了のタイミングで、突然、謎の羊が出現。ここまでよ、とお知らせいたします。
Ooh, interesting. When you reach the time to stop making a video, a strange sheep hops onto the screen and says end of the line. I'm gonna have to look at that.
そこで収録はお開きとしていただき、あとは考察やら、議論やらをお楽しみいただければ、幸いの極みでございます。
We'd be grateful if you stop recording when you see him and try to theorizing and arguing instead.
ちなみに今は、オフの状態ですよ。
This function is currently set to off. Yes.
はい、オンにいたしました。
Very well, I've set it to on.
また切り替えたいときは、0、導入の、ここに来てくださいね。
If you wish to change it, please go to 0 introduction and come here again. Interesting.
レイジングループは、ノベルアドベンチャーゲームというジャンルでございます。
I'm just gonna let her read it. and
小
skip
説のように
some
文
parts
章
so
で
it
物
goes
語が
fast.
綴られ、読んで楽しむゲームです。世に言う人狼ゲームと深く関係する物語ではありますが、
Okay, so it's like
人
Werewolf
狼ゲー
and
ムそのも
Mafia.
のではないのでご注意を。スーパー人工知能リカ子20人と永遠の人狼ゲームを楽しめるとご期待された方、すみません。ザメザメ。もちろんただの小説ではございません。時折現れる選択肢によって物語が
Okay,
変
so
化
we
す
can
る
affect the
すごい小
story
説な
with
の
our
です。
choices.
キャラクターたちが生き生きと描写され、生き生きとボイスを喋ります。
Okay, there's visual depiction.
作品
some
世界に
voices.
没頭で
I
きる
really
こと
like
向
how
き合い
they
です。
explain what a visual novel is to people who don't really play this genre of
せっ
game.
かくの声をお楽しみになるためや、突如絶叫が響き渡らないためにイヤホンなどされるのも良いかと。
Oh, I guess there's anguish
と
screams.
っても大ボリュームな物語ですので、没頭しすぎて数日
Well, I
徹
guess
夜
it's a long
なんてことに
game.
なるやもご注意くださいね。なお、もうご存知かと思いますが、
This is all
レイジングループは
fabricated.
架
It's
空の
not
殺人
real.
事件、恐怖事件を扱ったお話です。サスペンス、スリラー、ホラー、
Alright.
そして
Excited to see what they
謎に
have
挑
for
み、
us.
もちろん この物語は
Political
作り
fiction
事
has
で
nothing to do with
実
real
際
people,
の
groups,
人
and
物や
incidents.
作中の学問知識、歴史、宗教、
Also, fictional
神
details
話、
about
科学、
academic matters,
医学
history,
等の知
religion,
識は
mythology, science, and
創作を
medicine.
含みます。テストに
So
書い
these
たら0
things
点です。
live in its
サ
fictional
メザ
world.
メ、
It's not
そ
based
し
on
て
real life things.
描かれる犯罪や惨劇について
I
は
like how they say
現
this.
実のそんな行為
Do
を
not
推奨する意
endorse
図など
replicating the crimes
全く
and
ございませ
cruelty
ん。
depicted in this work, guys. I don't know why any of you would think of doing this, but I'm glad the creators put it in here
そんな感じで
because I
現
feel like
実との
there
区別
have
をしっ
been
かりお付けになったら
cases that
もう大丈夫。
happen
本
like where
作
people
を思いっ
replicate
きり
something
楽
from
し
a
んで
video
くだ
game
さい
and
ね。
that's sad. Yeah, separate real life from the game. Got it. Special functions.
レイジングループのストーリーは
Story
複雑に
branches
分岐して
out
おります。でも心配無用。本作では
of a
メ
scenario
ニューを開
chart.
けばチャートという機能にいつでもアク
You
セ
can
スで
open
き、
it by
そこ
selecting
からシナリオの
menu.
全図が見られる
It
ので
gives
す。
you an overview of the
さら
scenario.
にこのシナリオチャートを使えば入ったことがもう選択肢では必ずセーブとは申しません。シナリオチャート機能についてはまた後でもう一度使いどころの説明があり、次にキーにレイジングループの物語分岐はすべて選択肢を選んだ瞬間にその代わりいくつかの選択肢はキーと呼ばれる特定の情報がないと
We
開
need
くことがで
keys
き
to
ません。
unlock certain branches
こ
or
のキ
paths.
ーを探すことこそレイジングループの大きな目的だ。
You gotta search for keys.
その探し方は実際
It will
ちなみに
explain how to get a key when
一
we
度
get
キーを
one.
入手して解放されたルートはセーブデータと関係なく開きっぱなしになります。
All routes unlocked by acquisition of a key will be open, even if you haven't saved after the fact. Okay.
逆に言うと
Save by itself.
キーが未入手の状態にはロードしても戻れません。
Oh, okay, interesting. We can't load back to save when we didn't have the
それで読めなくなる文章はありませんのであまり困ることはないと思いますがご承知くださいね。キーがない状態に戻して遊びたいという既得なお方には
I
全データを
see.
初期化する手もあります。ご利用は計画的に。
Alright, we're almost done with the
独特
lengthy
な機能
intro,
に加え
guys.
レイジングループには
Basic
テキストウ
function.
ィンドウを隠す、バックログ、ロード、セーブ、
Okay.
既読文章のスキッ
Skip to next choice.
プ、ロードやセーブは大体普通のオートセーブ機能もあるにはありますが
Auto save.
新しいチャプターに入るたびにセーブするだけなので
Okay.
頻繁にはセー
So
ブ
we
されま
have
せ
to
ん。
make our own saves.
霧のいいところまで読むかシナリオチャートをご利用いただくか手動セーブを活用してくだ
Okay,
さ
we
い
still have
ね。
to save manually.
次にオプションメニューから開けるオプション設定からはただ全部説明すると皆様がお願いいたしますね。
Oh, sheep. Alright, and then here's a chart. Okay. Well, I think we're good. I'm ready to dive right in.
とても長くなってしまいました。ここ
You're
までお読み
welcome.
いた
We
だ
took
き
the time to
それでは
listen to the intro.
いよいよ物語の始まりです。
I think it's very interesting, like how they have like a storyteller.
限りなく濃い霧と血煙の向こう繰り返される絶望と悲嘆の果て
Beyond the pockets of mist and the hazes of blood, at the end of the ever-repeating despair and grief.
人狼村の真実をどうかその目でご覧くださいませ。
Please come and witness the truth of the werewolf village with your own two eyes.
ペコリ
Bow. Okay, 5/11, Sunday. You know, if it's fully Japanese voice acted, I might just turn it off and voice act myself. Okay. Never mind, I guess it's not. I closed in on the side of the road and killed the engine. It was steeper than I thought. My bike was on the verge of giving out, so I pushed down and deployed the kickstand. First of all, I already think this is moving too slow, the text. I need it to text speed, please. Let's try that. Well, I'm lost. Maybe taking a ride down an unknown road with no sat-nav on me wasn't such a good idea. I don't know what a sat-nav is, I'm guessing it's GPS. I just followed the road so I'd figure I wouldn't get lost, but now it's in some deep shit. I mean... No, cool, this isn't a big deal. I sighed, took note of the fact that I'd gotten lost in my pocket, journal, and then pulled out a map. Oh, you have a map, and you haven't used it? Bro, what are you doing? Excuse me. Suddenly, a rush of memory fitted into my mind. Oh, we don't have the keys, I guess we're gonna come back to it. Forget it. I somehow kept myself from remembering those things. Try harder. After all, I'd gone on this trip to forget. Are you sure about that? What are you trying to hide from? Ooh, okay, they have some voice acting. Enough of that, I gotta focus on what's happening right now.
人生はシンプル。つまりこの道のごとく、真っ暗で道案内もなく、進むか返すか。考えることはそれだけ。
Going back wasn't an option in this case, so I'd just move forward. Still, I wanted to know where I was at least, so I looked down at my map. It was all Greek to me. Last time I'd seen a sign, it was still light out, meaning that I'd gotten lost after the sun had set. Sure, it was my own fault for guessing which intersections I'd been passing through, and that it'd taken me 2 hours to conclude that I was lost. It took you 2 hours to conclude you're lost? Yeah, you deserve it. Crazy to think that. Just 2 hours of aimless driving got me almost completely surrounded by mountains. Why would you do 2 hours of aimless driving? You should be in the first 10-15 minutes of aimless driving and be like, maybe I should go look at the map? They extended as far as the eye could see. If you flipped this crazy scenery upside down and shook it, it's unlikely even a shred of civilization would tremble out. Besides the asphalt below, my sweet ride, and the lamppost above, the first one in a while, mind you, there was nothing man-made here. Yeah, he is deeply lost. The pocket map I had wasn't detailed enough for me to figure out where I was.
進むか。
I'd go as far as I could. Worst comes to worst, I could just jump camp at the side of a road. He's gonna run out of gas and be stuck. So... First, I'm already starting to think that this guy isn't so smart. He spent another 2 hours... Oh, how stupid can one be? 2 hours later, I deeply regretted ever thinking that. Basically, camping wasn't an option. This mountain road had no side to camp on. A dump truck I passed by barely even fit on it. I'd also had my first close encounter with wild forest animals. I'd already seen 2 boars and 3 deer in those 2 hours alone. One of those deer had run parallel to my bike while intently staring at me, and I had no idea what to think of that. It felt like it could smell my fear and did it just to make it worse. How dare the thing do that to a human? We're the kings of this planet, damn it! I had to remember to eat some medicine once I go back to civilization. Oh, okay, this guy. Anyway, camping out here was a bad idea. I'd end up either as a roadkill or animal food. And yet, I didn't back out. Why? Because I'm a pretty warped sort of guy, and I won't pretend otherwise. Okay, you know what? This guy has some self-awareness. Alright, he redeemed himself a little bit in my eyes. That was actually the reason why my once comfortable relationship had gone awry. Why I'd gone on this stupid trip. I can see why his relationship got awry. Still, despite acknowledging that, I chose to keep moving forward. It wasn't like I'd find a place to stay if I went back. Maybe you would. Maybe you would just decide to not be so stubborn and go back before you ever ventured this deep. I actually was starting to think that this experience might make a good conversation piece sometime down the road. If you survive. It was getting really late at this point. Where would these roads take me anyways? It'd probably be disappointing. Soon enough, the road became flat. I was out of the mountain pass. The forest remained abundant though, so I didn't see much. Even so, the streetlights and signs were enough to make me feel like I was again nearing civilization. Was street lights the right expression for lights in a forest? I'd have to look that up. As the roads grew less rugged, I realized how exhausted I was, and all this bike handling had left my hands really sore too. I really had to rest. Suddenly, I saw something unexpected. Powerful, colorful, artificial lights. A convenience store? Okay. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was next to an intersection between the road I was on and another, even thinner road that could probably support only a single car. The sea of trees ended, giving room for a majestic child of our consumerist society. Yeah, that was an exaggeration. Apparently, even the damn store was big enough for someone who just stepped out of the wild. Our protagonist is very sarcastic. I like and don't like that at the same time, but I like it so far. It was called Fresh Market. I'd seen several of them a few times during the day. It was probably a local franchise. The building didn't look at all old. At least the parking lot looked a lot smoother compared to the roads. This was a pretty weird place to build something like that, though. People still gotta buy their supermarket groceries out here. Hello, like, how are they gonna eat? Also, I feel bad for the trucks who do like deliver so far. Was I close to a settlement, or did they actually make a profit off of lost travelers? I just asked that or something. A local shopkeeper was bound to know what was around these parts. Not to mention I was thirsty. I bet he's thirsty in multiple ways. You know what I mean. I need to stop. What is wrong with me? This protagonist is getting to me. I was maybe like this protagonist spirit is just lashing onto me. I don't know what I'm saying. I think I'm just like, yeah. I was welcomed by a weird chime sound. It looked like a normal convenience store, but there were goods on the shelves, a counter on the left, and whoa! The worker at the counter was so mean looking, was scary. My god, they don't even show her eyes too. They definitely were trying to make her look shady. She was so imposing that I wouldn't have doubted if someone told me she was in charge of some ladies' army corps. Hey, I like her design, she looks cool. Was that supposed to be a greeting? It was so damn cold it actually gave me chills. Was the store shadier than it appeared? Was I about to be stupidly overcharged? Is that what you're worried about? Was this how this place made a profit? By taking advantage of lost people, basically beating them out of their money? Shit, that was scary. Clearly, the Wonderland had only just begun. Woohoo! I was sure excited for the beating. I grew more nervous and less enthusiastic by the second. I braced myself, but she just looked down at a magazine in her hands. Oh, she was just a slacker. Slightly disappointed, I walked around the store. It was about what you expect. There was a small shelf of energy drinks, followed by some stationaries, travel goods, sanitary stuff, etc. Oh, one moment, you know what I realized? I realized that I read online that they have voice acting, but it was like fully voice acted. I could be wrong, but maybe because like the reason why it's only partially voice acted is because I uploaded the thing about like I'm gonna upload the video, and maybe that's why they left parts unvoiced, so like whoever's making the video can read it. I don't know. There were sweets that came with toys, a shelf of cup ramen and dried food, a fridge, a freezer, all looked normal. It was a slate, so the daily dish and packed lunch section was completely empty. The only special thing about this place was a section full of unpacked vegetables you expect to see at a greengrocer's. Maybe all rural convenience stores were like this? I was slightly surprised by that, but there weren't any local fine foods or anything, so all in all it was an unremarkable store. If you ignored the clerk anyways. Oh, what is he trying to say? I took a drink and brought it to the register. Yep, she really was the highlight of this place. What kind of clerk smokes while dealing with a customer? A badass cool one. Yes, I was actually buying. She was in the clerk and I'd be her god, the customer. 126 yen. She didn't even understand it. This exchange was at the mercy of the clerk. God is dead. Oh my god, our protagonist is so dramatic. You know what? Maybe that's why his girlfriend, or I'm assuming girlfriend, is done of him because how freaking dramatic and childish he is. Maybe I had to get mad at her.
ちょっといいですか?
Can I ask something?
実は道に迷ってしまって。
I'm still deciding if I should just like read these lines or no. Maybe I won't read it for now. You guys can read the text. I quickly turned meek.
街はどっちにあるでしょうか?
あっち。
いや、できれば地図とか。
ない。
Man, this woman.
いや、そんなはずはないでしょ。コンビニなんて大体道聞かれるから、地図は常備してるもんでしょ。
知らねえよ。ないもんはねえ。おとなしく来た道戻れよ。
He really said go back to where he came from.
もう数時間迷ってるもんで、これ以上はちょっと。
その辺の床で寝てけば。
Oh, she really don't care. She had to be joking.
いや、お気持ちだけでいいんで、道だけちゃんと教えていただけたら。
ああ、もう、うっせえな。待ってろ。
Dude, she sounds so annoyed of us. She's like, ah, another lost travelers. These dumb bugs who can't just bring their own map. Why they freaking travel so far all the way down here when they're lost? Can't they just turn back? The clerk had put out her smoke on the ashtray and went to the staff-only area. She came back in no time. Oh, we see her eyes now. So she did have a map. Of course she did. Even more ill-tempered than usual, the clerk started giving an explanation.
これがこの店。で、十字路を北へ行け。しばらくしたら陸橋があっから渡れ。最初の分岐のとこに大岩があっからそこを右折して、あとは直線。
この道？
んだよ。
いや、この先何もなくないです？
書かれてねえだけで集落があんだよ。
そこ以外なら？
富士吉村まで行くには峠道を2時間。こっちなら30分で着く。
Fujiyoshi seemed to be a village. It didn't look too far away, but the road leading to it was this huge, branching mess. What was clearly just a paved mountain pass? I'd had enough of those for one day. I'd probably just get lost again.
じゃあ、こっち行ってみます。ありがとうございます。
金。
はい？
払ってねえだろ。茶の。
ああ、じゃあ500円。
Ding Russell Jingle?
なぜ、お釣りを無断で募金箱に入れるんですか？
小銭多いとうぜえだろ。
Oh, I like how she just put it in the tip jar. That was hell of a line. I'm pretty sure that it's illegal, but she's too far out of civilization for anyone to freaking care or do anything about it. I casually thanked her, grabbed a plastic bottle of tea. She didn't give me a bag, by the way, and left the store. Look how petty he is. She didn't give me a bag. Oh my god, horrible customer service. I drank the tea in the parking lot and looked up at the moon, obscured by the clouds, but it was still bright enough to outshine the light of the convenience store. The clerk put me in a bad mood though, so I didn't enjoy the sight. I threw the bottle into a nearby trash can and aggressively drove away. Yeah, he definitely had to put aggressively in there. He had to make us all know that he's in a bad mood. Following the directions, I crossed through the overpass and arrived at the first fork in the road. The byway she told me about was really narrow. I probably couldn't have noticed it if it were not for the tall boulder standing there like a roadside shrine for some traveler deity. Turning carefully, I got on the road. A minute later, I found myself in an even worse wildness than before. A veil of dead leaves covered the ground. Tall grass sided the path, and the sky above was blocked by overgrown shrubs, making it feel like I was passing a wooden tunnel. The road itself was a huge red flag. It was a wonder why I didn't just turn around. Me too! It was a wonder why you didn't turn around in the first place. Huh? Why'd you go so far? The exchange from before might have pissed me off more than I thought. Oh, you get pissed off at everything, MC. I don't even know your name, but still, I really didn't just expect the road to just end. Did he die? It happened about 15 minutes in. The view had suddenly turned strangely dark, and a split second later, the bike tipped forward. He dead? Oh no. Oh shoot. I reflexively hit the brakes, but it was too late. I started going down a cliff. My bike tilted downwards and its suspension was put to the greatest test, yet as we basically tumbled down to the bottom, the headlights suddenly shone on some dirt and grass. I knew then that I'd be flung out of my seat. Stifling a scream, I tried to work some steering and brake magic to slow down without collapsing. But that was too big of a task for a simple road bike. At the bottom of the cliff, it jumped higher than ever before. The suspension couldn't handle the impact, and I was launched into the air. A moment later, I heard a crash and felt an impact, after which came an unpleasant ooh, it was hard. An accident where I was flung out like this was a first for me. The launch was really something too. I did a 360 in the air and fell on my back. My breathing stopped for a moment. The pain was so bad, I thought my bones had shattered. My face and limbs seemed pretty fine still, at least, though I wasn't sure if that counted as a silver lining. There was grass under my hands. I felt it even through the gloves, and the smell of green made it pretty clear what I landed on. I pushed down, and my hand sunk. The grass growth was pretty hefty. It was probably the reason why I came out relatively okay. Sure, my joints creaked when I stood up, but aside from that, I was fine. It was really dark, so I couldn't really confirm it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't even bleeding. My bike, however, wasn't nearly as lucky. It was lying on the side of a short distance ahead. The engine was still on, the back wheel kept turning, making an unpleasant fricative noise. Yup, it was busted. I walked up, killed the engine, and took the key. With the headlights off, I was surrounded by absolute darkness, so I just stood and waited until my eyes adjusted. I still couldn't see very clearly, but it looked like this actually wasn't a cliff. I was still on a road, it just wasn't paved beyond this point. Obviously, a road bike stood no chance against an unpaved road. That woman actually tried to kill me. Zigzag through the trees, I followed the narrow footpath deeper into the forest. I tried getting my bike up and running again, but instantly gave up. It was partially stuck in mud, so there was the risk of slipping and getting me into another accident. Maybe I had to turn around? Oh, now you think about that. The moment I considered that, I saw a faint light ahead. If that woman wasn't lying, this road led to a settlement. Was I close? I reached into my jacket's pockets, took out my phone, and opened it up. As you expect, I was out of range. I ran the light up and shone a light to see better. Though weak, it was better than nothing. At the very least, that helped me watch where I was going. I had no idea how long I'd been walking for. It's raining now, but sure enough, I could see a light beyond the shrubs. It was weaker than expected. A flashlight, perhaps? I could hear water, too. It might have been near a river.
すいません
I raised my voice.
すいません誰かいませんか
Still declaring my presence, I walked forward. It was late at night. Were I to bump into someone here, the scare would probably take a few years of our lives. That was why I figured it was best for both of us to let the other know we were here before that happened. Not a bad idea. However, there was no response. Could they not hear me over the rapids?
すいません
The river is loud. I shone my light ahead and realized I made it to an opening. Sure enough, there was a river, or a stream rather. could see slightly more than I had while surrounded by trees. Straining my eyes, I saw a rocky river beach in the shallows. The light I'd seen on the other side, from what I could tell, was either a lantern or a flashlight, and it was close to the ground. I didn't see any people, though. No one responded to my shouting either. I wasn't excited about it, but I decided to step into the water. The cold water quickly soaked my shoes and socks. I could have taken them off, but I'd figured that crossing a river barefoot at midnight was a bad idea. But man, was it cold! I put my phone back into my jacket. I needed both my hands free just in case I fell. No stopping or backing down. That is literally what's describing the main character right now. There's no stopping or backing down. Like, even if he's going in the wrong direction, he'll just keep going and going. I walked towards the light. It suddenly became deeper. The water reached my knees now. That was too close for comfort. Feeling the bottom of my toes and balancing myself, I somehow avoided losing my footing. The flow was fiercer than I expected. If I slipped and fell, I probably would have been washed away. It suddenly hit me I was doing something really weird, but it was too late to back down. I think he said it's too late to back down 5 times already. Like, if he would just freaking not be so stubborn, he'd be back home already. Putting my hands on the boulders and carefully checking what I was stepping on, I gradually made it to the other side. Then, with an unpleasant wet sound in my every step, I walked up to the light. I could see it clearly. Yup, it was a flashlight, lying on the ground for some reason. There wasn't much space here. It was a narrow riverbank with a cliff nut right beside it. As you'd expect, I didn't see or sense anyone nearby. But what the hell? Though old, the flashlight was working fine. The strength of the light told me the battery was pretty full. That meant that someone was actually using this tonight, or rather, until just a few moments ago. That was the most logical conclusion. It obviously wasn't left here yesterday afternoon or evening. And yet, the user was nowhere in sight, and I was near a river. Did something bad happen? Did the flashlight's owner step into the stream and get swept away? That was the most likely and worst possible scenario. However, the flashlight was left there practically buried in pebbles. It didn't seem like someone placed it there to light things up. And it was the dead of the night. Okay, that looks like some light to me. There was no way you wouldn't notice dropping your flashlight when it was so dark. Right. The fact that there was a light source... The fact that a light source was left in a place like this was strange by itself. With that considered, what was going on here? What if somebody heard my stupid shouting and decided to lure me with a light so they could ambush me? Where would they attack from? Above?
こんばんは。
I heard a voice the moment I looked up. The rock cliff was actually made of several boulders. There was a face peeking from behind one of them.
こんばんは。
あー、人だ。びっくりした。
Who is it? That was my line.
悪いんだけど、それ取ってもらえます？
Good thing the owner is alive. The voice was feminine. I finally realized what was going on.
落としたってわけですか？
I picked up the flashlight and pointed it at the source of the voice.
やん。
A high-pitched voice, slender hands shielding the light. Sure enough, it was a young woman.
眩しいな。
お、失礼。ちなみに、こっちはこういうものですが。
What does this is me, by the way? Me?
怖いです。下から照らさない。
Oh.
実は、当方道に迷っており。
だとすると、割と究極的に迷ってますよ。
Yeah, she's like, you're way out here in the unknown. Yeah, thought as much.
ここって人里です。
難しい質問だな。
とりあえず助けてもらえないかと。
助ける？
雨露しのげて野生動物がいなければ何でもいいんで。
Yeah, just take this random stranger dude you meet out in the wild who you know nothing about, who might be a serial killer, you never know, and bring them to your place and let them stay for the night so they can leave the next day or something. Shield them from the wild animals. Yeah, this doesn't sound sketchy deal for the girl at all. Standing on the boulder, the young woman made a pensive face.
じゃあ、打ち来ます？
She's very bold. And that was the conclusion she arrived at. Her face told me she was 100% serious. Place? My place by that. She surely meant a house, a settlement. Whoa, these people don't live on trees or in the wild. That's
い
crazy.
いんです。頼んどいてなんですが、遠慮を忘れてすがりたい程度には切羽詰まってるんですが。
え？男として？
Oh.
ええ。いや違う。一個の生命として、数時間迷った挙句、バイクでこけて、心身ともに限界ってわけです。
あらら。なら、見捨てるのもどうよって感じじゃないです？一個の生命として。
Doesn't want to get kidnapped or you don't know. I understand. So I was saved. Oh, the beauty of living things being looking out for each other.
じゃあ手、いいです？
She's nice.
ん？
ここ、一人じゃ登れないでしょ？
True. Honestly, I didn't even realize I'd have to. Meeting another person filled me with relief, which is why, followed by a sudden wave of fatigue. It wasn't crippling though. She extended her left hand so I grabbed with my own left. The slender fingers were stronger than expected. Yay, we finally know her name. The girl's name was Chiemi Serizawa. I asked if she was related to the Shinsengumi guy, but who's the Shinsengumi guy? What? But she said that her family just adopted the name at some point at the Meiji period. She was a 20-year-old who went to college far away from here. Lewis was her hometown and she was spending her post-exam vacations here. Oh, good for her. We chatted about stuff like that once she led me out of the rocky ravine. There was actually a proper path, so the rock climbing was pretty pointless, but I was too focused on my footing to comment. She told me about herself as soon as we reached solid ground.
ちなみにそちらは？
名前は房石春明。東京で大学院生やってます。
あ、じゃあちょっと年上。
24だから、芹沢さんと3つ違いかな。でもまあ、同世代でしょ。
ちえみでいいですよ。敬語とかもいらないです。
じゃあ僕も、呼び捨てタメ口がいいな。
ですか？
女の子に親しくされてるみたいで、嬉しいからね。
Yeah, it doesn't come across as weird at all.
なるほど。実は私も堅苦しいの苦手なんで、じゃあ遠慮なく。
どうぞどうぞ。ちなみに、まだ結構遠い？
そうでもないかな。もう5分くらい頑張りましょい。
What a lively girl. You could tell she was used to people.
ただ、足元に気をつけて、明かりだけ見て。
Yeah, she seems like a cool person.
何かあるの？
この辺、石ころだらけで危ないんだ。
Watch him slip and fall. Game over. That'd be embarrassing. The moment she said that, I stumbled on a rock too big to call a pebble.
あと、今夜はずいぶん暗いしね。
I couldn't even see the moon anymore. Nodding in agreement, I focused on following the light in her hand. I don't know why that was so hard.
ちょっと待っててもらえます？着替えちゃうんで。
Is that the rain or is that water? And so I did just that. Given this was a mountain settlement, I'd expected some wooden house, but she actually lived in an apartment block. Ooh. It was too dark to get a good look at. All I could see were the cheap-looking walls, like you'd expect from some old boarding house for students. Also, she lived on the second floor in room 202. Okay, guys, remember that 202? I heard some raindrops as we were climbing the rusty stairs, but now it was really pouring. Okay, so it's raining. It's not the river. It's funny because it's also raining outside in real life now here, so. Between that, the darkness, and the large tree next to the building, it was nearly impossible to see what was going on outside. It felt like I was all alone in a world of nothing but the walls, the door, and the fluorescent lamp above my head. It made me feel somewhat helpless. Look, you're safe. You're not in the wild anymore. It's not all that bad. It could be worse. I distracted myself from that by imagining her. What? Imagining her changing. What? Hey, yo, I don't feel safe anymore. I don't want to play as this protagonist. He's weird, he's creepy. Sorry about the wait. Come in. All smiles, she showed herself, now wearing sports clothes. This is kind of exciting. What?
なんにもないでしょ？
何にもないね。
This was nothing in
で
her
も
pocket.
冷蔵庫の中は、ほら、
素晴らしい。
飲みますか？
やったぜ。
Yeah, her place was really empty. Okay, but she got a lot of food. What is this? Beer. Oh, she got a lot of meat. Chips. She's making me feel hungry. It was just a small room with a low table in the middle, a fridge near the door, and a large duffel bag deeper in. There were 2 old-looking bookshelves too, but they were completely empty. Why does she have a bookshelf with no books? What is going on here? Is that for snacks or what? I wasn't bothered one bit, though. Any girl's room was a wonderland to me. This guy needs to chill. You know what? No wonder his girlfriend broke up with him. Ain't nobody feels safe being his girlfriend.
春明さんに、お疲れ様ー！
地獄で出会った仏様に乾杯。
We opened up our cans, knocked them together, and downed them. Hey, it was actually good. The pleasant bitterness and the refreshing carbonation made for a good combo.
美味しい！このためだけに生きてる！
その若さでそれはないでしょう。
She's literally only 3 years younger. Don't be condescending, you dumb fuck. Look, I already don't completely like this protagonist because of how weird and creepy some of his internal monologue is, but like...
言い過ぎた。愛や将来にもまだ絶望してません。
He's like, ouch, that hit me where it hurts.
ところが、就活という影が迫る。
いやーやめて！せっかくのビールがまずくなる。
Yeah, not the job hunting. She laughed as and took a huge sip. It was pretty clear she could hold her drink. That aside, something really bothered me.
お誘いに乗っておいてなんだけど。
何？
Her cheeks were already red. Maybe she didn't handle her liquor as well as I thought. She had a well-featured face, and I didn't think it was wrong to consider her beautiful. Sure, her clothes weren't the least bit sexy, but I could tell she had some makeup on. What are you thinking? Stop.
僕は完全に正体不明の自称迷い人だよね。
そうね。
君は年頃の女性。今は深夜。ワンルームの密室で男と二人っきり。その上アルコールまで入ってしまった。
おお。
身の危険を感じたりとかは？
I mean, it's a valid question, but like, considering what some of the other things he said, I'm just like, Haruki? She kept gulping the drink, even as she formulated a response. The very fact that I could watch her do that made this a pretty risky situation, and yet...
あんまりないかな。
それは。
芹沢千恵美クイズ。
イエーイ。
問題。ふと気づいたら低層が瀬戸際にもかかわらず芹沢千恵美は特に身の危険を感じない。なぜでしょう？
Why would you say what a fun? You know what? I don't even want to ask. This is just making me more stressed out. What the fuck is this dialogue? What a fun girl. This only made me like her more. Increasing the danger even further. I need to stop narrating this in a creepy way.
質問 OK？
どうぞ。
As an asshole.
僕のことがいい人っぽいという答えはなしでいい
No, you're very
かな。
average looking. Stop.
悪い人に見えるってわけじゃないけど、まあなしかな。女の子慣れしてそうだし。
Yeah, I doubt you're a good one. Yeah, I agree exactly with her exact description. Like, he doesn't look like a bad guy, but he doesn't seem like a good guy either. That unintentional compliment showed that she actually did see me as potential danger. Stop. Stop. She's not trying to hit on you.
考えられる回答は大きく2つ。想定外だが何が起きても問題ない。もしくは想定通り。前者はいろいろ考えられるかな。例えば、ちえみちゃんが何かやけっぱちになっていて、どうにでもなれって場合。あるいは、十分な自衛手段がある。実は護身術の達人で、僕なんか軽く乗せるとかね。
ああ、論理的。春明さん理系だね。
まあそうかな。一方で後者、つまり、この状況が君の想定通りって場合は。
例えば、私がエロエロですとか？
Wow, talk about not mincing words.
酔っ払ってきたな。さて、他には何があるでしょう？
Did she just live alone? She got all this beer and drinking all day, like she living the life. Her parents not caring or they're not here. Indeed, what other reason would a woman have to bring a stranger to her home? It would surely be something non-standard, like
僕の存在が君の利益になる例。例えば、アリバイ工作。君がここにいたと、後日僕が証言することで君が有利になる。
おー、ちゃっかり利用するわけだ。
あるいは、ちえみちゃんが恐るべき殺人鬼で僕を酔っ払わせてぶっ殺す。
Yo, if that's the case, that'd be
ヤマン
wild.
バ、いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
Oh, what kind of sound effect was that?
ちなみに、前提で出た2つのケースの他に1つあるよ。
あれ？
うん。私がとってもいい人で、春明さんを助けてあ
I
げ
can
たい
see
一
that. She
心
does
だ
seem
っ
like
て
a
いうケース。
genuinely nice person. Was it time for me to be ashamed of my filthy mind? Yes, it is, you filthy animals.
いや
Stop
でも
it.
それで自分が襲われるかもって考えたら
Does being a genuinely nice person, do you not understand? Like, there are people who are genuinely nice and they're just too nice to, like, they're nice enough to overlook, like, the consequences and, like, believe in the good faith of other people.
わあ、襲うって言っちゃったよ、この人。
Yeah, in
一般論
general, of
一般論
course.
ね。
She stopped talking and turned red. It was so cute, I thought she was actually doing it on purpose. Man, was she drunk? And we were just on our second cans. Hey, yo,
じゃあ
does this
こう
guy
いう
drink a
のは
lot?
止めないともっとひどいことになる。それはさすがに忍びないな、とか。
Yeah, I can see this.
ごめん。もうちょっと詳しく。
この辺りには怖い野生動物が出ます。このまま見捨てたらとても寝覚めの悪い思いをするかもしれません。それなら、まあ止めてあげようかしら。
なるほど。リスクと善意を天秤にかけるってわけか。これは想定外。
Yeah, it does look dangerous. He saw a
想
lot
定
of
外
wild
か。
animals.
この人だいぶ悪い人なんじゃないかって気がしてきたな。
え、そう？
Wow, never mind. I said he had self-awareness earlier. He doesn't have self-awareness.
だって
Forget it.
善意を
Forget
選
it.
択肢に
We
入れる
don't
前
like
に
this
殺人
protagonist
鬼と
anymore.
かアリバイとかエロエロとかさ。
エロエロは君が言い出したんでしょうが。
そうだったっけ？で、答えは？
これって単なるバカ話じゃないの？
正解者には素敵なプレゼント。不正解者はブッシュブッシュ殺します。
Oh my. Seriously? Ah, 20 keys? What's going on? Ayo. What did I need 20 keys for? That's crazy. Now this will be funny. She's not desperate. It's definitely this one. But this is a funny option.
ピンポーン、正解です。
Oh, cool.
まあ実際この辺危ないしね。鹿にイノシシに野犬にクマ。
鹿とイノシシは実際見たけど、クマもいるの？
うん、月の輪だけどね。あんまり多くはないけど、昔襲われた人もいたし、ちょっと外は危ない。
なんてワイルドな。
でも本当にヤバい動物は他にいるけどね。
Something worse.
なんだろう。クマよりヤバい動物？
ヘビ、サル、カラス。
Okay, the monkeys, I don't know why that'd be bad, but spiders, yeah, snakes, yeah. Huh? Were they venomous or something? I really doubted that. Those didn't seem worse than bears.
あと、狼。
Ooh, wolves.
日本には狼はいないでしょう。
You wouldn't know that.
いるかもよ、こんな田舎には。
She smiled and drank out of the third can.
まあ理由がどうあれ、まんまと美女宅に侵入を果たした春明さんは自分が
Oh,
狼
she's
になっちゃうんだ
definitely
ね。
drunk. Shammy, stop drinking.
やめ。
紳士、もう一本あげちゃ。
I wasn't too sure, but I felt like she dodged the subject. Perhaps I wasn't being cautious enough. Is it? Okay. It seems like... interesting. We could have forked over here. Let's just do a save. Did I save or no? Okay. But then again, I've been wandering aimlessly for a long time by now. I had enough recklessness in me to enjoy sharing a drink with a cute, if shady girl. Okay, I guess it's the next day. I wonder what this symbol means. Dot 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 dot. The last thing I remember was our little, when was the last time you pissed yourself out sleeping talk? I had to tell her about the time I got so drunk and wet my pants in the middle of the boarding house. She laughed so hard she started frothing at the mouth and passed out. She drank too much. I woke up with a splitting headache. Oh, man. Morning already? The light poured in through the frosted window. I pulled out my phone and checked the time. 7 in the morning. I had gone to sleep somewhere between 2 and 3, which probably wasn't quite enough sleep. Absolutely not enough sleep. At least I didn't wake up to some horror movie scene. The building was in the ruins and the girl actually wasn't a skeleton. Though in a way, this might have been worse. She was spread out on the floor on the other side of the mini table. Her breathing was mixed with some weird gurgling sounds. I hesitantly looked at her. The saint that saved me from the hell I was in last night had puked in the middle of her sleep. What was I supposed to do here? As a guest, I couldn't really be too harsh on her.
ちえみちゃん。
She wasn't waking up. Well, I just do what little I could. There, that should be good enough. I'd use tons of toilet paper to clean up the mess and flush it down the toilet. If it left a stain on the floor, it left a stain on the floor, but it was dirty to begin with, so whatever. I even got a wet towel and cleaned her face. Even then, she showed no signs of waking up. Okay, well, at least he was nice for doing that. Some of it was on her hair and clothes, but I figured it was best if she took care of that herself.
ちえみちゃん。
朝
The first hint of consciousness so far today.
ちょっと出ておくから。
Without waiting for a response, I walked to the entrance. She'd have to take a shower and change and all that, so I'd kill time outside. I stepped into my still damp shoes, with my bare feet. My socks were in the washing machine with the towel she gave me to wipe my legs, and reached for the doorknob. I opened the door and was greeted by a gust of wind. The raindrops gathered on the leaves of the tree next to the building flew right into my face, making me grimace. The rain from last night was already over. The sky was pretty clear, but despite that, I noticed the visibility of my surrounding was poor. The building was surrounded by leaves. The old structure was basically buried in a forest of trees about as tall as itself. There were branches poking to the exposed hallway. It almost felt like they'd reach out and grab me if I wasn't careful. I kind of felt like I was in an overgrown ruin. I turned around and saw the room and Chiemi just left as I left them. Yep, it was all real. I closed the door. There were other rooms in this building, which made me wonder if they were occupied. Hell, I wondered the same thing about the area in general. I pushed the branches aside to see if there were other buildings nearby. Suddenly, something entered my vision. It didn't feel right. What? Oh, that's the girl we saw in the intro. Something that shouldn't have been there. The leaves I removed revealed a woman clad in curious clothing. The moment I recognized her as such, she opened her closed eyes. Did our eyes meet? Another strong wind. I shielded my face from the spray of raindrops. And she disappeared. And when I looked outside again, that woman was nowhere in sight. Was that an illusion? If not, then what? What kind of place was this? It could have been a real Hicksville, a marginal village, a bunch of actual ruins, or an illegal settlement. I had some theories, but I set them aside for now. It seemed like a place worth exploring, regardless. Hey, this building seems not too bad at all. Like, it's not like he said, it's like an actual apartment and not like wood and stuff. I went down the stairs and found no sign of the woman, or anyone else for that matter. A short distance away from the building, I turned around, and sure enough, it was pretty much covered in trees. I went to the place where I saw the woman. There were footprints in the grass. Maybe I'd find her by following them? They led me to an open area. It was unused, but it looked like someone was trying to do something with it. Was this supposed to be a construction site? Even if it was clearly abandoned. Is there some lore in this? There were some huge rocks and lots of sediment near a prefab. From what I could tell, there had been a giant landslide which forced them to stop construction. This is definitely part of the backstory. Like, you're probably doing some construction project here, maybe like the land wasn't good, but they decided to make the construction there anyway, and it fell and maybe it killed some people, and I don't know. I think that's something in the backstory. We'll see. I'm just theorizing all over the place now. The fact that the plant growth was still minimal meant it happened fairly recently. The footprints seemed to be going down the hill next to the site. Following them, I finally saw something that could be called civilization. It was a set of paddy fields with houses nearby. So this is actually a settlement. What a relief! I decided to keep following the footprints and approach the settlement. I came across another unpaved path that was clearly used by people and cars. It was lined with weeds and brushes reaching up to my waist. That's really high. It was home to caterpillars and grasshoppers, among other things. Spiders were no exception. There was no shortage of insects there, so it was a good place for a net. I wasn't particularly scared of spiders, but I didn't like them either. At least they were just harmless orb weavers. Regardless, I avoided these bushes, just in case, and followed the path like the good city boy I was. Maybe he did come here later on. It was a large boulder surrounded by grass. It was strangely tall, making it look like it was put there by people. On its dewy surface, there was a gray tree frog, ready to go after many insects scattered about. I walked a bit further and came across the house of a small field nearby. The field's location made it safe to assume it belonged to the inhabitants. If there were inhabitants anywhere, I couldn't see anyone. And just like always, there was grass everywhere. There was another boulder standing next to the house. This one was obviously placed there by human hand. What was the point? Was it a monument or something? The footprints continued into the field. When are we gonna meet some other people? Wet mud in the field was full of small, young, but healthy-looking rice plants. If you ignored the standing boulders in the area, the place looked like a normal farming village. ... I was both relieved and worried at the same time. From what I saw, there weren't other buildings besides the one in the settlement. Everything beyond was just mountains, meaning that this place was completely isolated, you think? And I was a complete outsider. There was no way things could go well if I ran into a random local. He's gonna run into a random local. I belatedly crouched to hide myself a bit. It's probably best for me to go back. Xiami might have been looking for me. Suddenly, he bumps into someone. I heard a sound. I looked for its source and found a speaker on a wooden utility pole in the middle of a small plaza. A morning broadcast? I'd never heard this tune before. It was cheerful at first, but had some parts that seemed really dark. I found it unsettling. Perplexed, I started walking, and what happened next made me hide myself. There was a person in the area densely surrounded by houses, but hey, we have wooden houses here. They weren't normal. What was that appearance? What was that on her face? Though I was a fair distance away, I could see an old woman with some sort of cloth over her face shadily walking out from between the buildings. Oddly enough, there were boulders even there. But weirder was the fact that she walked up to one of them, slightly joined her hands, and bowed her head before it, her face still hidden. Then all was silence. Okay, this is definitely some kind of ritual, town ritual, a little spooky. It actually looked like she was revering it. To me, it looked like she was praying to it. This was bad. Really bad. I'd wandered into a settlement with a unique culture, to put it lightly. Forget causing trouble. An outsider like me could get killed here. I just turned around and ran for it. I dashed up the hill. He's like, I gotta get out of there. These people are crazy. Past the house, through the construction site, until I arrived back at the apartment building. Xiami looked like a relatively reasonable person. Maybe she could tell me what was up. It just hit me that the way she described this place was somewhat weird. She basically said it wasn't normal.
あるいは、ちえみちゃんが恐るべき殺人鬼で、僕を酔っ払わせてぶっ殺す。
はあ、ヤマンバ。いいね。ブッシュブッシュ殺しちゃう。
No way. What if she was actually the bait they used to lure outsiders here? Okay, now he's just theorizing. ... Now he don't trust her either. Eventually, the broadcast stopped. Xiami still hadn't come out of her room. She's probably like drunk or like blacked out. She didn't respond even when I knocked her, called out to her. I didn't have to worry about this, right? That just made my inexplicable unease grow worse. What if this was a trap? Was I in a dangerous situation? I had to talk to her. If she was a normal person, anyway. Maybe my best option was to run away right now? I wouldn't know where to run. I couldn't remember the path we'd taken here. Though I was pretty sure we went uphill, so maybe I just had to go down? If I avoided the settlement and went back into the mountain stream, I could escape by following the wild roads. Maybe that was my best option, even with the difficulties considered. Thankfully, I taken my bag with me. I took out a 500 yen note and put it in Xiami's newspaper box. It was payment for last night's beer. The moment I turned to take my leave, the door to the next room of the staircase opened slightly with a creak. What the frick? I saw an eye glaring at me through the gap. Her high-pitched scream pierced my eardrums. I screamed too, scared shitless, and ran for it. Suddenly, I stepped into the wet hallway floor at a bad angle. I fell. Oh. Thud, thud, thud.
はるちゃんどうした？
うわあ、誰このおっちゃん。
あなた、誰ですか？っていうか、大丈夫ですか？
The reasonable sounding voice prompted me to shake off the pain and raise my head. Huh. There were two boys in formal-looking school uniforms.
大丈夫ですか？
Interesting. Students? He repeated the question.
ああ、ちょっと驚いただけで。
おっちゃん、ちえねえの友達？
ちえに？
ああ、ちえみちゃんのことか。
大学のお知り合いですか？お知り合いが来るなんて聞いてなかった。
いや、いろいろあって助けられたんだ。怪しいものじゃないんだ。怪しく見えるだろうけど。
By love, I meant sarcastic.
怪しいな、おっちゃん。
どうすればいいのかな。とりあえず、名前は房石春明と言います。
僕は織部安永です。こっちは鴨志田近持。モッ
チーだ。
Good to know. If I called him that, maybe he'd stop calling me old man. I was only 24. Hey, yo, to younger people, 24 is very old.
それでこっちが。春ちゃん何してんの？
I'm in I have some friends who are like, young, and like when I talk about like, and they like when they talk about like people that age, they act like they're really old. So I get where the little boy is coming from. This is Haru-chan? What are you doing?
だって知らない人が。
Apparently, this Haru-chan was the person who looked at me through the gap in the door and screamed.
とりあえず大丈夫そうだから出ておいでよ。
A moment later, she slammed the door shut, and after a few more moments of hesitation, opened it again. She definitely doesn't trust us. Whoa. She looked like a student too, but this professional sense was exceptionally flashy. Yeah, what is it? She got a little bow. I don't know what this is. Is that a streak of hair? It's cool, it's cool.
あなた、誰ですか？
房石春明と言って、この近くでバイクで事故って、芹沢千恵美さんに助けられたんだ。
それって、もしかして、昨日の
夜、
CNN の部屋に。
Stop.
あ、止めてもらっ。
She cut my words short with her ear-piercing shriek. Don't get the wrong idea.
通りで騒がしかったと思った。何考えてるの？嫁入り前の女性の家に。不潔。
ああ、それはその通りで、僕もちょっと躊躇はしたんだけど、千恵美ちゃんが親切で。
千恵美ちゃん？あれなるし。それじゃあもしかして知恵姉が出てこないのって。ドアに5000円挟んであるじゃん。
房石さん、まさか。
違う。単に昨日お酒をおごられたからそのお返しで。
知恵姉の体が5000円ってそんな安いわけないでしょ。
That is not what happened.
ただれてるな。
No, stop ruining her reputation. What the hell were these kids saying?
君、助けてくれないか？
They all hate us now.
初対面で女性の部屋でお酒を飲んだんですか？そして知恵姉は出てこない。
Crap, I had no allies here.
一体何事？
So the subject of the conversation joined in.
おお、千恵美ちゃん、君からも事情を説明。
She's gonna be like, I don't remember. Something was off about her aura. What happened to the lively girl she'd been yesterday?
知恵姉、まさか。
Oh my.
恥ずかしいとこを見られちゃった。
Oh no. Oh, stop. Don't say it like that. I'm stressing out. Oh
い
my
や、
god.
ちょっと待って。ちょっと。
Like, we don't want to hear anymore.
もう嫁いけない。
Stop. Fucking. Chemi, please. Please stop this nonsense. Don't talk like we did anything. Man, what a mess. Though Chemi's face was all pale, she was actually grinning. Oh, she was messing with us, huh? She obviously had a bad hangover, but that didn't stop her from messing around. Oh, Chemi, I hate you. Why? After calming everyone down, Chemi explained what actually happened. How we met in the middle of the night, how she let me stay out of goodwill, how we drank ourselves silly, and how nothing happened between us.
いやー、久々に深酒しちゃって思いっきり入っちゃったよ。春明さん、お見苦。
いや、それはいいんだけど。
That Haru-chan girl still looked at me funny.
非常識。
ああ、うん。申し訳ない。昨日は本当に疲労困憊でね。つい好意に甘えてしまったんだ。
まあ、知恵ねえだしな。雑把だよな。
事情も事情だし、年寄りたちも納得するかな。ちなみに、会ったのってどこです？
それはね、
下の方の河原だよ。
My words made everyone change their expressions.
それはちょっと
大騒ぎだ。2日連続で2人もだなんて。
Oh no, they get lost over there.
もしかしてまずいこと言った？
まあいずれバレることよ。さっきあれだけ大騒ぎしちゃったから休みず中に知れちゃったろうし。
君、2日連続で2人もって何のこと？
触らないで。汚い。
Oh. I was trying to touch her and I wasn't filthy. Sure, I'd had a bath in over a day, but still.
君、何が騒ぎになるの？
タエバあたりが拒否ってなる。
Huh? Well, that sure sounded bad.
詳しい話を聞かせてくれない？
ちょっと説明は難しいんですけど、まあここは田舎なんで町といろいろ違うってことですよ。
Did people go missing there? The guy here was Oribiku. Ignored Chiemi and he was the easiest person to talk to.
どうすればいいかな？
まあちえみが何とかしましょう。学生諸君はとりあえずご飯行かないと。
この混乱には乗るっきゃない。
乗るっきゃなくないもっち。とりあえず行っちゃいな。私らちょっと遅れていくから。
まあちょっと時間ずらした方がいいよね。揉めそうだし。
さすがやすくん、察しがいいぞ。ごめんけど2人のお守りよろしくね。
もう知恵ね、子供扱いはやめてよ。
I just noticed her bag is like that. That's really cool.
そうだ、うんこしてやるぞ。
What is wrong with the people in this village?
ほらほら行くぞ、モッチーにはるちゃん。
And so the students walked off towards the stairs. It was kind of easy to tell what sort of relationship they had. Anyway.
彼らがこの建物の他の住人？
そういうこと。学生寮だからね、ここ。
A student dorm in this Hicksville? Hey, yo, don't look out at them. Still, my senses had betrayed me. There were actually other people here.
ちなみに春明さん、他の人と出会ってトラブったりしてないよね？
あ、うん。一応それ警戒してたから。
ならよかった。よし、ちょっとしたら食堂に行きましょう。
あ、朝食？
朝食は今から食べてください。食堂へは一応面通しをしに行くの。
誰と？
よそ者が皿長からやってきたってことに文句を言いそうな人たち。
Oh, so like that Taiba person, huh?
お世話になります。
いいってことです。その代わり朝のことは秘密で。
そりゃもちろん。ところで皿長って何？あの河原？
そう、皿長の瀬っていう川だけど、あの辺まとめて皿長って呼ぶの。ちょっと曰くのある場所でね。
曰く？
あの川は汚れていて死人が帰ってくるみたいな伝説がね。
Oh, so that's why they reacted like that.
他にもその手のルールというかしきたりみたいなのが
たくさんあります。なので基本ちえみちゃんにお任せを。
Gladly on all fronts.
ちなみに身の危険とかは？
Oh, a great question.
ないない。でもいろいろ不愉快な思いをする前に早く出ていけた方がいいかも。
そのための根回しに行くと。
そうそう。
The settlement I'd strayed was a weird place, but at least the guide was reliable. And she wanted me to leave ASAP, huh? That was depressing. Oh would you want to stay in this random remote village anyways? Don't you have a home to go back to and a life to get back to? Maybe he has no life, you know, that's why he's out here. Well, he did want a break, he said, to forget. Chiemi gave me some cup ramen for breakfast. She boiled the water in a small electric kettle. The girl herself was too hungover to eat anything. I did take the opportunity to pay her back for last night's drinks in person, though. Then we made our way to the dining hall.
この岩って何なの?
Yeah.
一応お守りみたいなもの？昔からあるよ。
よそでは見たことないよ。
ああ、言われたらそうかも。
She led me along a narrow path I followed earlier. It didn't seem like any cars used this one. It was very farmy, I guess? This area was also littered with those boulders. Some were cracked, broken, or half buried in the fields. They were clearly religious symbols, but it didn't look like they were that important these days. Or were they? Now that I knew I was safe, I once again became curious about this place.
人だ。
He was working on the field.
匠兄ちゃんだ。おはよ
う。Chiemi waved her hand. The man responded, but then froze mid-wave as he saw us.
じゃあ行きましょう。
いいの？多分あの人、僕の存在に驚いたんじゃ。
大丈夫。どうせ後で食堂に来るから、説明はその時にするってことで。
Let me look at the chart. Okay, we're still. Well, if she said so. As an outsider, I had no choice but to rely on her. This is the part of the village I saw this morning, where the buildings were more densely packed. I didn't notice it back then, but it was actually kind of weird. Basically, it felt desolate. The wooden bungalows in particular were more or less overgrown, buried in the tall grass or other greenery. If this was all I saw of the village and someone told me it was abandoned, I had easily believed them. However, two of the buildings stood out. Here was a hall right beyond the hill. It wasn't that big, but it looked grand and well maintained. The other building was obviously the dining hall. It looked a bit dirty, but I could tell there were people inside. From what I could tell, it was the most lively place in this poor excuse of a community. That's me. Suddenly, 3 students walked out, chatting about something.
あ、知恵ねと、サイシさん。
Yeah, the disappointing voice.
サイドおはよう。ちょっと遅くない？モッチーがバカなことばっか言って遅くなっちゃったんだもん。
そうだ、僕が悪だ。味噌汁をよこせ。
まあ早足なら間に合うでしょう。みんなしっかり勉強しといで。
みんな高校生なんだ。
そう、山をぐーっと登ったところに分校があるんだ。私も3年前まで通ってたな。
やたら不便だね。
それでもみんなあの寮に住める分優遇されてるんだけど。
Chiemi was entirely straight-faced. There wasn't even a hint of a smile.
さあ、気合を入れて入りましょう。
そうしましょう。
気合入んない。
We laughed a little and passed the curtain.
いらっしゃい。あら。
Inside was as aged as the outside, but it looked well maintained.
ちえみちゃん、お客さん？
The hostess-looking lady asked. Though somewhat aged and fatigued, she was definitely beautiful. There were 2 others beside her. One was the lady in her 70s or 80s. She was probably the one I saw this morning. The silhouette matched. Yeah, it probably was. The other was a man who seemed a bit younger than her, probably in his late 60s. Though they were just sitting here, there was a menacing aura around them. They don't trust us.
紹介するね。房石春明さん。昨日の晩、サラナガで迷ってたのを、ちえみが保護しました。
They definitely don't like hearing that. Yeah, they scared of me. They think we're a ghost or something. The lady gasped, while the 2 elders rose to their feet with alarm. The tension that was already there in the moment I walked in. The tension that was already there the moment I walked in reached its peak.
気にするのもわかるけど、これは単なる偶然です。あの子と違って、この人は素性が明らかだし、バイクで旧道に突っ込んで事故ったって非常に気の毒な事情もある。
That little girl. Oh, what little girl?
そんなわけで、 我々としてはこの人がちゃんと帰れるように手伝ってあげるのがいいとちえみは思います。どうですか皆様方。
After saying all that, Chiemi fell silent. The ball was in their court now. They're all like dot dot dot.
それは大変。
The lady voiced a harmless opinion, careful to not upset the old people. It was pretty clear who was in charge. They were the elders in more ways than one.
ちいちゃんはなんで夜に皿長なんぞ言っとったかね。
虫の知らせかな。前の日にあんなことあったし眠れなかったから。
そいじゃやっぱり読み人じゃないんかね。
やめ、タエバ。
From the conversation, it was clear that something bad had happened before I arrived here. It was probably similar to what happened to me. She mentioned some little girl. Perhaps there was a child who wandered in here like I did. According to Chiemi, the Saranaga Rapids were a place of significance around here. It was a place from which dead people came to life or whatever. So this Tai must have been like, "Eee!" lady that the boy mentioned. And the Yamabito must have been a term for the dead who came from there. Apparently, the primary goal here was convincing these elders to prove help in me.
おい、どっから来た？
Old man's voice put my derailed mind back on track.
あ、はい、東京です。
いくつじゃ？
年は24です。
地位より上じゃが。
He chuckled. I immediately realized that he was taking a jab at me for hiding behind a younger girl. Oh, okay.
申し遅れました。房石春明です。芹沢さんにも紹介された通り、バイクで事故って迷い込みました。どうやら僕は、ここでは異分子のようで、変なことを言ったりしたりして、皆さんに迷惑かけたくないなと。それで、芹沢さんに紹介をお願いしたんですが、僕から改めてお願いします。すぐ出て行きますから、それまでは僕の存在を多めに見ていただけないかと。それと、僕を助けてくれた芹沢さんを責めないであげてください。
春明さん。
おそらく芹沢さんは、ここの常識を外れたところで僕を助けてくれたんだと思うんです。学生たちもみんな驚いてた。
まあ。
Well, his response actually wasn't a bad one.
これでも大人です。自分の責任は自分で取りますし、皆さんにかけた迷惑は可能な限り償います。
That's not a bad response. That's one of the first decent words that came out of his mouth.
ですので、どうかお願いします。
I bowed my head.
ちゃんとしとる、タエバ。
あたしゃあすかんわね。そんなに髪茶色に染めてから。
Shit, I forgot I didn't look very presentable to more traditionalist people.
よそは皆こうよ。はよう返せばええ。
ほいじゃあ好きにしなさいね。
I guess I got on their half-hearted approval?
春明。春か。うちの孫も春じゃ。紛らわしい。
あ、もしかして
Oh, Haru's grandfather?
そう、春ちゃんのおじいさんの牧島勘三さんよ。
どうも。
I didn't know what else to say. Haru-chan and I weren't on the best of terms so far. Anyways, it seemed like we were past a difficult part.
皿長に突っ込んだか。
いえ、コンビニで道を聞いた後、脇道に入って未舗装になったところで滑り落ちて、横転しました。
で、皿長登ったか。なぜ途中で引き返さねえ。
He wasn't impressed by my choice of actions. I wasn't either. None of us or anyone who played this game be impressed by his action. I will be questioning your sanity. If it just hit me that I had no idea how much time passed between the crash and my meeting with Chiemi.
わしと匠で見てきちゃる。
匠は他を見よるわよ。
タエバ、追い出す思うて手伝わせ。
カンちゃんはいつもそうね。
ばあちゃん、おやさん、どうした？
We're joined in by a new inhabitant.
ちえみ、こいつは？
あ、たくみ姉ちゃん。
His brother or something? Michan? So he was the one we saw in the field. Wow, he sure looked big from up close. Yeah, he can beat us up. All that field work was good for his muscles, clearly. And from what I could tell, he was in his 30s. As Chiemi introduced me and told him of my situation, I found out his name, Takumi Muro.
ああ、そいつは災難だったな。ああ、おやっさん。
わしとお前で拾う。
だな。ばあちゃん、こいつ助けっからちょっと待っててな。もう農薬は巻き終わってるから、昼からさかるわ。
たくみは優しいね。
こんなもんなんでもないって。すぐ何もなかったようにできるからよ。
そうね。
Nothing, eh?
お兄ちゃんや。
え、僕ですか？はい。
ここは安水言うてね。あんまりええ場所じゃないんよ。
It was a place that wasn't good? Not my presence here?
私らもよそのもんが苦手だし、よそのもんも縁がえ
え。There's definitely something going on in this town.
だから、はよ出てお行き。
はい、そのつもりです。
話はついた感じか？
ありがとう、たくみ兄ちゃん。
I was beginning to understand how things worked here. Although Kanzo Makishima's voice was the most powerful here, it was also important to get Tai-san's approval. Kanzo-san was probably in charge of tackling the settlement's practical problems, while Tai-san provided spiritual and moral direction. And when it was time to be civilized, Takumi-san came and convinced Tai-san, acting as an intermediary. It looked like Takumi-san himself understood such subtleties, and Chiemi seemed to rely on this side of him.
はい、ここらで一つどうぞ。
The lady brought some tea with the old fork. Perfect timing.
おお、香織さん。俺には飯頼むぜ。
So that was her name.
朝早くからお疲れ様でした。
Oh, Oribe.
大盛りにしますからね。
なーに、安水とばあちゃんと香織さんのためならへでもねえよ。
まあ。
These two sure seem to get along. They looked about the same age too.
さあ、お客さんもご飯にされます？
あ、いえ、
They already had
いただいてきたので。
instant noodles.
それじゃあお茶をどうぞ。おにぎりでもお出ししましょう。
ああ、それは。
ごめんなさい。ちょっと急ぎで電話借りていいかな、香織さん。
Oh?
それはいいけど、お茶くらいは。
ありがとう。でもほんと緊急だから。行こう、春明さん。
What could it be?
うん。
It didn't look like I could say no. We went up the stairs nearby to see what looked like a living space. At the end of the creaky hallway, there was a black rotary phone, a rarity in this day and age.
これがここ、安水唯一の電話だから。
Alright guys, the one and only phone in this town. Seriously?
ちなみに、携帯電話はどのキャリアも通じませんので。
そうなのか。
Totally not a bad sign.
でもどこに電話しろって？
ロードサービスとか保険とか、あと必要なら家族にも連絡。
Oh, that made sense. Hell, I should have been the one to say that.
さっきも言ったけど、できるだけここを早く出られた方がいいから、使えるものは何でも使いましょう。
よそ者が歓迎されない場所だから？
そういうことです。
それ以上の詮索は無用と。
春明さんはとっても察しがいい。それはいいことだと思う。ただ、好奇心もとっても強く見える。
バレたか。
バレますとも。でも正直、あんまりいろいろ首突っ込まない方がいいかも。
どうせすぐに別れるんだし。
その通り。
なんだか寂しいな。
お、ちえみちゃんのメアドをご所望？
くれるならぜひ。
やった！これで男友達53人目。
Oh, she's like on the list.
テンションガタ落ちですわ。
We still went on to exchange our info. I could only hope that being number 53 wasn't as big of a problem as it sounded.
それはともかく、個人的興味で言えば、何が問題になってて、どんな背景があるのか知りたいのだけど。
おすすめしないな。
なぜかな。
私が不愉快になるから。
あんまり故郷が好きじゃない？
うん。正直嫌い。
ここの人とは仲良さそうに見えるけど。
ああ、それは見えるだけですね。私相当な問題児だったんで、ご年配方とは結構気まずいよ。それに、パッと見はわからないいろんなしがらみもあるし。まあ、住人自体はそんなに嫌いじゃないけどね。
With that, I decided to stop prying about this place any further. I'd back away before she came to hate me.
あ、でも、一つだけ聞いていい？
You've been asking 50 million things.
いい度胸。
室匠さんのこと好きだったりする？
Of course he'd ask that. He's jealous.
え？私が？
うん。
さすがにそれはないな。匠兄ちゃんかっこいいけど、ごつすぎるし、10以上年違うし、対象外です。
Hey, Takumi looks like a cool guy.
それに、匠兄ちゃんは昔から香織さん一筋だし。
Oh, I thought Kaori was like a mom or something. She gave me like a mom or auntie vibes. I didn't know that.
やっぱそうなんだ。結婚してるわけじゃないの？
うん。香織さん未亡人だから。
Okay. Wow, that seemed complicated. Okay, we're starting to learn more. I was like, she looked like she had the same Oribe as the other guy, so I thought she was his mom. That aside, Chiemi had been acting a bit strange. Why had she dragged me away from the tea? It seemed so awkward, too. Assuming she hadn't been jealous of Kaori-san and simply didn't want her to charm me, would it mean that she just hadn't wanted me to drink that tea? Why? Was there something in the tea? Also, why'd she feed me a cup of ramen if I could have just gotten food at the dining hall? Looking too deep into things was a part of my nature, though. Yeah, what is, like, our protagonist, like, what does he do? What did he study? Though things are never as bad as I assumed. I went on to call my insurance company, where I found out something. Apparently, this village was hundreds of kilometers away from the nearest service station, meaning I wasn't eligible for the normal service and had to pay extra. That extra was no small amount, too. It actually went over 100,000 yen. Would that be $1,000 in USD? Approximately? Dang. Also, I could have avoided this if I'd taken a more expensive plan. This is all my own fault for not taking that bike salesman's advice. Shit. I said I would consider it and hung up. That's why insurance is important, guys. Then I went back to the dining hall.
あれ、おじいさんたちは。
Customers here had changed completely. Tai-san, Kanzo-san, and Takumi-san were gone now. They were replaced by a caricature of juvenile delinquents. Oh, okay. He shouted at me. He seemed like he was trying too hard. Then he slammed his bowl and chopsticks on the table and stood up to intimidate me.
久石春明です。
That facial change. Ready to fight.
まあ、義継。初対面の方になんて口の利き方を。う
るせえババア。おい、てめえ。そいつ誰だ？
Did she called him a hag? He called her a hag. What?
バイクで事故った旅行者の春明さん。
Boy, that introduction was half-assed.
改めて、こちら織部香織さんと次男の義継くん、安永くんが長男ね。
安永くんって朝の彼？
What a glaring difference. Did he call his own mom a hag? And that's rude.
そう、よく見たら似てるでしょ。
Oribe, what an unpredictable family.
兄貴のこと言ってんじゃねえよ。うぜんだよ、ぶっちゃ。
What?
そう言われてもな、モテちゃうからな。
And she's cool about it? what I've seen, that confidence was well justified.
とっとと町へ戻っちまえ、バカ女。バカバカバカ。
I love the voice actor. That was so funny.
どうしよう、春明さん。バカは否定できないかも。
なんと、ちえみちゃんはバカだったのか。よーし、バカバカ。
What is going on with this dialogue?
ひどい。
言ってやろうぜ、吉嗣くん。バカバカ。
なんなんだよてめえ。知恵ねえバカにしてんじゃねえよ。
Aww, he's actually protecting her. You're actually pretty conflicted, aren't you?
ごめん、ちえみちゃん。本心じゃないんだ。
おお、見事な連続手のひら返し。このちえみをあっけに取られさせるとはなかなかやるな、春明さん。
ちえみちゃんには負けないぜ。
付き合ってんのかてめえら。
Boy, did I wish. Calm down.
いい加減になさい、吉嗣。とうに遅刻でしょ。着替えて学校。
She seems so done of him.
行かねえよ。
Mumbling something, the kid walked out of the dining hall, leaving his half-full bowl behind.
ごめんなさいね。お恥ずかしいところを。
根は素直ないい子なんですけどね。
Yeah, I could actually see that somewhat.
ところで、牧島さんとムロさんは？
あ、もうバイク拾いに出ましたよ。
まずい。追いかけないと。
うん、場所は分かってるみたいだったし、大丈夫じゃない？
いや、一応ニュートラルにすれば押せるけどさ、操作わかるのかな。あとさすがに手伝うべきでしょ。作業が非効率になっちゃまずいし。
その程度なら手出しはやめときましょう。
なんで？
取りも直さず、春明さんがよそ者だからです。長時間一緒に歩くのはちょっとおすすめできない。
問題になりそうな人たちには思えなかったけど。
そりゃあ二人とも大人だから。でも基本的にこのちえみほどオープンな人はここにはそうそういないからね。春明さんは平気かもだけど、一緒にいると向こうがストレス溜めるかもしれない。ただでさえ今普通じゃないから。
まあ、そうね。任せろと言われたら、手出しをしない方がいいでしょうね。
そうなんですか。
ええ。安水には安水のやり方がある。男の人たちはそれにこだわるから。
Sounds like some backstory. A visitor should behave like one. Doing anything more would be uncalled for. It was an old-fashioned way of thinking, but this is an old-fashioned kind of place for sure.
じゃあ、どこで待とうか。
うちに戻って待ちましょう。
Expected as much, but it still made me curious. Normally you expect me to sit around and drink some tea right here, so why didn't we? That's true. As we waited, Chiami, casually but uncomfortably, told me several things. First, I found out that people here in Yasumizu were a bit on edge right now. The reason for that fact was the fact that, excluding me, they had already had 3 whole outsiders here. I'd assumed this myself from what I knew so far, but apparently yesterday morning, a little girl was found straying around the Saranaga Rapids. I couldn't even find out her name, let alone who her parents were, so I didn't know how to handle her. For now, one of the inhabitants was looking after her. Yeah, it would be pretty bad if they just left the little girl alone in the wild. Like I'd been told, the more superstitious inhabitants, Tai-san mostly, saw her as a bad omen. I suggested leaving her to the police, but Chiemi didn't seem to think it was a good idea. It barely made sense to me, but if I were to believe her, things around here were such that not even the cops could do anything. And apparently, the remaining 2 outsiders were a pair of journalists gathering information for a magazine article. Unlike the little girl and I, they come here via the normal route, through Kami Fujiyoshi, and they weren't considered a bad omen or whatever. Still, even normal outsiders put the people here on edge. Through this talk, I got some details about the area itself. Yoshimizu was a settlement part of an autonomous region called the Fujiyoshi village, or simply Fujiyoshi. Okay, so we're here. the river he came up from. They went up like a cliff. And then there's some place if you go up a mountain. It also been on the map I've been shown on at the store. What is that? What is this something? Fujiyoshi was split into two areas. Yasumizu and Kamifujiyoshi. They were separated by a mountain. Going to Kamifujiyoshi took about an hour by foot or 20 minutes by car on the winding paved road. Side note, the school the students went to was in Kamifujiyoshi. Okay. These two settlements had ties so strong they shared customs and culture. Shiemi said the local seasonal events were quite unconventional. I asked her to elaborate, but all she would say was that Yasumizu had special meaning to Fujiyoshi. She was making me more suspicious than I wanted to be. This conversation wasn't nearly as exciting as the one we had last night. Well, at least I found out she didn't have a boyfriend right now. Very intriguing. What is he trying to... Stop it. It was nearly noon when Takumi-san came back, ending my waiting game. Side note, the door was fully open the entire time we waited. It was probably Chiami's way of saying that nothing bad was happening here. Good to know.
バイクってのはおめえもんだな、おやっさん。
去年取った獅子ほどじゃねえ。
I really didn't expect them to just carry it here. Like, sure, there were two of them, but just how much mass did you have to haul a 200-kilogram piece of metal so easily? The unpaved road and the river made my sweet ride really damn.
どうやってあの崖を上げたんです？
滑車があんだよ。たまに下から物を引き上げなきゃなんねえから。
おい、匠。
と、余計なこと言ってる場合じゃねえ。これ大丈夫なのか？だいぶ水に浸かっちまったみてえだけど。
どうかな？見てみます。
じゃああとは任すぜ。おやっさん、結構かかっちまったから研ぎ直しは明日まで待ってもらえっか。
手伝おっか？
とりあえず一人でなんとかなるかやってみるよ。
The worst part of the repairs was right at the beginning. Hold up. Let me see if we're still in dense mist. Okay. I wanted to start by washing it, but that old lady, Tai Yamawaki was her full name, really got mad at me. She didn't want any Saranaga mud on the ground here because it was corrupt or something. But this plaza was the only place with easy access to a water supply tap, so I did my best and convinced her to let me wash it as close to the edge as possible. Once it was clean, I could start checking what was wrong with it. It actually looked pretty good. Bent in places, sure, but the wash got rid of the bad sound where the wheels made. The only problem was that both tires were flat, and it was a pretty big one.
道具とか持ってきてないの？普通、バイク旅行とかって持ってくるもんじゃないの？
いざとなればロードサービス呼べばいいかな、的なノリだったんで。
不準備。
いや、返す言葉もない。正直やけくそで出発したから冷静でもなかったのかも。
お？事情を聞いてほしそう。
彼女に振られたんだよ。
なんか嘘っぽいな。
It wasn't.
それはともかく、タンク修理道具か。野里屋敷ならあるかもしれないな。
野里屋敷？
There's a mansion here?
安水で一番大きなお家。野里屋敷にないものは安水にはないよ。
なるほど。じゃあそこの人にお願いしに行こう。
実はあんまり会うのはおすすめできないんだけど、背に腹は変えられないか。
また偉い人が登場？
その上ちょっと人格的にね。
And so we walked up to the hill and arrived to this so-called Nosato mansion. From what I could tell, it was located at the highest point of the settlement, and like Chiemi said, it was definitely a hell of a building. It had an elegant Western design, which would probably look even better if the place were better maintained. The yard was overgrown. The building itself was pretty much buried in ivy and small trees. If someone told me it was cursed, I'd instantly believe them. Did people actually live here?
インターホン、生きてるかな?
She pressed the button next to the aged iron gate. Yasumizu was a quiet place, so I could easily hear the bell ring inside.
もう一度押そうか?
やめとこ。何度も鳴らすと心象悪いから。
そんなに気難しい人なの?
What kind of guy
そうね。気難しい。うん。いい表現だ。
I wasn't sure what she meant, but I opted to just wait rather than ask more questions. Soon enough, the person in questions walked out of the mansion.
なんだ? 誰だ?
Oh, I already know what kind of character he is, okay. He wasn't young, but he didn't look middle-aged either. He certainly looked high-strung. That much was for sure.
どうも、野里さん。芹沢です。
See, he looks pretty modern. His
知
clothing.
っている。芹沢千恵美。そっちの青年は存じ上げないがね。
春明さん、こちら野里清之助さん。清之助さん、事故車の久石春明さんです。
That introduction was the briefest one yet.
は? なんだって?
I explained the situation again. He furrowed his brow when I mentioned the Saranaga, in addition to the reason we were here.
というわけで、早々にここから出ていくためにも、修理道具をお持ちだったら貸していただけないかと。
タイヤはチューブですかね?
Huh?
一応パッチもあるがね。チューブタイヤだったら素人には難しいんじゃないのか?
He's
できるならいいがね。
like, you can't do this yourself.
なあ、チューブがバーストしてたら交換するしかないが、替えはさすがに持っておらんよ。譲る義理もないがね。
すみません。ちょっとそのあたりあんまり詳しくないまま乗っちゃったんで。
ちょっと話にならんね。おとなしく何十万高の勉強料を払って拾ってもらうのをおすすめしよう。
It's like, you broke guy. I had no retort to that.
野里さん、多分ですけど、今の時期、これ以上よその車がここに入るとか、良くないんじゃないです？
はあ？君は間違いりだろう。未だにそんなもの信じてるのかね。
私はともかくじいさまばあさま方がちょっとここ数日やたら外来者多いですし。
安水の連中の事情は知らんよ。私にどうしろと？油まみれになってパンク修理しろと？
いや、そこまでなくても藤吉の長者として困ってるマロードを助けるのにお力添えをいただけないかと。
困った時だけ長者を頼るのではなく、安水流のもてなしでもしたらどうかね。崖から突き落とすんだ。
Oh, what the hell?
いや、そんな言っちゃダメですよ。
Chiemi's tone was slightly off. I could feel a bit of irritation behind her words.
本当、お恥ずかしい限りなんですが、なんとかしてみるんで、道具だけ貸してもらえませんか？
なんだと？
道具やらキットやら仮に入るだけで、作業は別のところでしますから、もちろんお代は払います。
まあ構わんがね。下手に物を破損させたりしたら弁償してもらうぞ。学生だか知らんがきっちりしてもらう。
Then he pointed at me to the garage and walked back to the mansion.
いやー、なんとかならない気がしてきた。チューブがバーストってなんだろう。
春明さんかっこ悪。
バイク乗りならスパナ1本で何でも修理してみせろと？
まあわかりませんけど、なんかそういうメカに強い感じ出したらグッとくる女は多いのでは。
じゃあ野里氏にはグッときたと？
いやー、どうせ知ったかぶりだから。 あの人多分自分じゃ整備もできないよ。筋金入りの占い病単だし。
Okay, so he doesn't know that much about cars either.
じゃあなぜバイクの整備用品なんて。
野里屋敷は上富士吉にある野里家のもっと大きいお屋敷からいらないものを運んで置いとくような場所らしくてね。5、6年前に清之助さんが単車買ってもらったけど、ろくに乗りこなせなくてお蔵入りにしたとか聞いたことある。
He got a free car, but he can't drive it. Damn, that was really the countryside for you. Couldn't hide your shame for life, shame of your life depending on it. Oh yeah, because the community is so small, nobody knows. Everybody knows everything. Anyway, I now knew that the man was a condescending, pretentious type. He still helped me out, though when it was true, I didn't know much about the bike repair, so I couldn't really get mad.
さ、そうと決まれば使えそうなものは全部持ち出してやろうぜ。
さながら山賊のごとく乗った。私邪魔じゃないかな。
いや、適当に話してないと気がめいるんで、相槌打ってくれるだけでも助かる。
The instructions that came with the repair kit told me that my bike's tires were a rather difficult type to repair. Apparently, I had to remove the tires, but where did I even start with that? Well, as long as I didn't break it, nothing I did could be worse than having to call roadside service down here, so I just tried taking it apart. But as I removed whatever nuts I could, I made the situation even worse than it was. Yeah, this really wasn't a job for an amateur.
お兄さん大変そうね。ちえみちゃんもよかったら食べてね。
I don't know why, but for some reason I get just a little bit of a sussy vibes from her just because of the way she's drawn.
ありがとうございます。
Like, giving me a little serial killer vibes for some reason.
なんか大元になってんな。機械っつうのはやっぱダメだな。
まあ壊れさえしなきゃ文明の利器は便利だけどね。
日暮れまでに治りそうかい？
厳しいかも。最悪なんとかするから安心して、ばあちゃん。
Really appreciated how she handled the visitors in my stead.
なあ、知恵ね。バイクって免許
like
簡単に取れんの？
どうだろう。原付なら簡単よ。私も持ってるし。
中型大型の二輪は結構めんどいよ。普通免許取るのと同じ学科講習もあるし。バイク好きなのかい？
ああ、関係ねえだろ。ちなみにそれいくらすんだよ。
Yelling at us again.
これは新車で80万くらいかな。
Like, I bet you can't pay for that.
たっけは？たっけバカどうやって貯めんだよ。
Dude, the voice actor is great.
まあバイトとか頑張ったから。
そんな新車が事故ってなんて春脇さん気の毒。
ちえみ先生、さっきから気にはなってたんだけど、差し入れ僕の分は？
先生思わず全部食べちゃった。春脇さん気の毒。
I didn't want sympathy from the one responsible. As I told her off for not leaving me any food, I somehow removed the tires. I could only hope I'd be able to fix this up. I had had this thing for less than a month, but the trouble it was putting me through made it feel somewhat dear to me. I wanted to, fire it up again and make sure it could go as fast as it could. Suddenly, I heard an engine. I felt like it was mocking me. Oh, hold on. An engine? Here? I stopped working and turned around to see an unfamiliar van driving to the plaza. Barring the classic-looking piece of junk in Nosato's garage, this was the first time I'd seen a car here. Is it the reporters? As far as I knew, no one living here actually owned running cars.
さっき言った記者さんたちだね。
I knew it. Once the van stopped, a lady stepped out of it.
こんにちは。
Oh, she's pretty. She literally thinks everyone's pretty.
今日もご迷惑をおかけします。これまで見ないお方ね。
どうも自己春明です。
Bike crash, I'm dead.
そこ
こまで自虐的になんなくても。
Crap, that was no time for an inside joke. I quickly introduced myself properly.
ちょっとその辺で事故りましてね。ここに寄せてもらってます。
なるほど、学生さんね。事故は災難だったわね。ちなみに私はこういうものです。
The woman gave me her business card. Hisako Mamiya, a freelance writer. And her pen name was Kyuko Hosei.
ちなみに読んだことない？宝生九子の記事。
すみません。
だよね。まだまだマイナーだし、そもそも記事載った雑誌、主婦向けとシニア向けだし。
それは難易度高いな。ちなみに何を書いておられるんです？
フードレビュー、変わった食品専門のね。
あれですか？世界で一番臭い缶詰とかそういう。
そうそう。まあシュールなんて今更ネタになんないから、国内に絞ってマイナーな珍味を探し歩いてるわけ。
So why's she here?
そんなわけで、郷里に変わった料理があるとか情報があったらぜひちょうだい。日本全国どこでも行くから。
ラボの後輩がキャンパス内で採ったキノコで豚汁作ったら集団幻覚が起きまして。
思いつきと毒物は却下ね。
As we chatted, I became curious.
そういえば取材の方はお二人とか。
ええ、もう一人いるわ。ちょっと降りてくるのに時間が。あ、来た来た。
I looked at the van and became completely awestruck. Felt like the van had shedded skin or something. That made no sense, but seriously, how did this fit in here? Are you making fun of it? That's messed up. He was gargantuan. How are you? What? Takumi-san was something, but this man was on level of a foreign heavyweight wrestler. Okay, calm down. Although, unlike Takumi-san, this man was primarily fat rather than muscle. Why is he so judgmental and fat-shaming? As he walked out of the driver's seat, the van shook.
写真家の橋本雄大さんよ。こちらは私よりもっとずっと有名。オールラウンドでご活躍中で、写真はきっと気づかないうちに何枚か目にしてるはずよ。
I didn't know much about photography, but I was definitely convinced. There was a certain kind of authority or gravity around him. He hasn't said a word. He wasn't saying a word, and I couldn't tell what he was thinking.
どうもはじめまして。久石春明です。
He doesn't talk. Was he even alive?
どうも。
Okay. After a strange pause, he slowly bowed like the moving mountain he was and greeted me with a voice of a titan. He seemed somewhat difficult to interact with.
今日で最終日でしたっけ？ええ、オリベさんが秘蔵の獅子慣れを開けてくださるってことなので。よその人に耐えられるかな。まあ、胃薬も持ってきてるから大丈夫でしょ。
And so, Mamiya-shi and Hashimoto-shi walked off to the dining hall. Who would have thought that such a beauty was a delicacy hunter? I had to admit, that kind of gap was charming. As intrigued I was, I couldn't waste any more time. I had to fix my bike already, yeah! Oh, who was this guy? A lot of things had surprised me here in Yasumizu, but nothing as much as this.
もしもし
He looks a little creepy. No reaction. At first glance, he looked like a poor man, too senile to think and perceive properly.
何かご用ですか？
I made sure to speak as clearly as possible. It didn't look like he understood. What? I figured it was best to just ignore him and resume the repairs, but...
Good.
Oh no. I looked at him again. And he was still standing there like his soul and brain had left his body. A vacant stared, yellowed eyes, Half open, mouth covered in saliva. Oh god. He spoke again.
何が来るんです？
The wolves? What? His voice was too hoarse to make out.
何ですって？
I placed my hand against my ear. Finally understood what I wanted and prepared to whisper something. I brought my ear closer and...
Oh, 狼が来るぞ!
The sudden shout had caught me completely off guard and made me fall to the ground. He looked down at me, laughing. Okay, so he knows what he's doing. He clapped and opened his half-toothless mouth to a wide smile.
Oh, 狼が来るぞ! Oh, 狼が来るぞ!
That laugh, is he crazy? He bent his body in a weird way, laughed like he was convulsing, turned around, and just left. That's not random, weird, and friendly at all. Chemi had joined the journalist and only just come back.
何が遅かったと？
おじいちゃん、知らない人にはああやっていたずらするんだよ。
え、あれ、ちえみちゃんの？
いやいや、本名は知らないんだ。昔から休みずにいるおじいちゃんだけど、昔からあんな感じ。
ボケてるというか、ちょっとおかしいのか、あの人。
うん、みんな狼じじいって呼んでるけどね。
That seems fitting. Instead of the boy who cried wolf, the old man who cried wolf. Yeah, named after the boy who cried wolf, I assume. Doesn't work as well though.
狼ねえ。
As far as I knew, there were no wild wolves in Japan, and so he thought. There used to be, but after that last sighting in either Meiji or Showa era, they've been considered extinct here. Okay, maybe in this story, in this fictional world, maybe they're extinct. Modern Japan's image of wolves came from Western fairy tales and the like. It wasn't linked to anything in our culture or life. Even The Boy Who Cried Wolf was a Western tale. Did his brand of insanity make him repeat the tale or something? A bit weirded out by the circumstances, I went back to repairing my bike. After a bit more time, I somehow took off the rubber from the tires and removed the tubes. Both tires were pierced by some really rusty nails. Fuck, this kind of stuff only happened at the worst of times. Then I applied the patches and filled them with air using a manual pump. I wet the tubes. There were no bubbles, meaning no air was leaving them. Things were looking good. After the high schoolers came back from school and passed by, no one stopped to talk. No one else stopped to talk. Chami was looking a bit bored now.
なんとかなりそうかも。
嘘。あんなにダメっぽかったのに。
悪かったね。まあ、これを組み立て直すって大仕事が残ってるけど。
それが終わったら出発できそう？
そうだね。長居するとまずそうなのはよくわかったし。
You can take a hint? Oh god, I sure hope so.
そう、よかった。
She didn't seem to care that much. Guess I had no chance of her, huh? Stop.
もう何時間も缶を詰めっぱなしでしょ？大丈夫？疲れてない？
昼食休憩の機会が誰かさんに奪われたこともあってね。
代わりにクラッカーをあげたじゃないですか。
Crackers aren't enough. Like that was enough to say a guy in his mid-20s, yeah.
まあ、僕は大丈夫。もう一頑張りする。君ももう行っていいよ。大体の人とは顔合わせしたような気がするし。
多分あと2人会ってない人がいるかな。
Okay, so we almost met everyone. Really? Well, there was no real need to, right?
もうちょっといるよ。どうせ暇だから帰ってきたわけだし、することもないし。
52人の男友達と遊ぶ選択肢はなかったの？
He really remembered the 52
全言撤回。暇したいから帰ってきたの。街暮らしは面倒も多くて。52人からのメール攻めとかさ。
そっか。
ごめん。52人は嘘。
なんでそんな嘘を？
春明さんに対する牽制?
Yeah, no, you do that. Keep him in check. He needs to be kept in check. Why would she pull a tactic like that only to reveal her hand?
ねえ、
Maybe she thinks you're
彼女
leaving?
に振られたって本当?
Now she asked me that.
本当だって。
そっか。
Well, after that relentless assault, it wouldn't be fair unless I played my own card.
なんならこれ乗っていく？
Oh!
これって二人乗りなんだ。
もちろん。一応タンデム用のヘルメットも吊るしてきてるし、まだ乾いてないけど。僕はこのままここを出ていくから、その便でちえみちゃんも外に出るのが都合良ければってことになるけど、ついでにロングツーリングしてみる？時間さえあればどこへだって行くよ。
Flexible, open to fine-tuning, wild and charming. This is a good date invitation if I said so myself. Okay, calm down.
いいね、素敵。都合、問題ないよ。
Oh?
じゃあ、荷物まとめてくるね。
Shammy smiled and turned to head to her place. Then she looked back at me and...
急いだ方がいいよ。
はいはい、もちろん。
Well, that made me motivated. This was one tiring trip, but at least I met someone good along the way. I just forget everything I didn't want to remember while on the road with her. I could only hope that clever girl and I would eventually grow closer. With that ulterior motive in mind, I resumed rebuilding the bike. Yeah, I like how he said ulterior motive. At least he's aware. Oh my god. After several failed attempts, I was finally making some good progress putting the bike back together. Afternoon had passed and it was almost evening. At the rate I was going, I'd definitely be working while it was dark. Would that even be possible? It might be way past midnight by the time I was done. Chiemi might dump me for that. And life was sure hard. The plaza I'd work on was now totally empty. There was no one around me. All I could hear was the wind, the frogs, and the tools in my hands. It was desolate, to say the least. I suddenly felt really weak. Yet he ate nothing and he'd been working for hours. It made me keenly aware of being in a place I didn't belong and that I was preparing to escape. It was an oppressive atmosphere, like the bars of a cage were slowly swinging shut. What's this, Haruki? Think you're gonna get attacked or something? I tried to laugh it off, but it didn't work. As I became more conscientious of my surroundings, I began to hear things I hadn't noticed before. Oh no. I heard a voice. Someone was singing. It was an inarticulate little girl's voice. I stopped my work. Before I knew it, I'd put my tools down and gone looking for the source. Was I that starved for human presence? Or did the malaise make me feel like I was in danger? I walked down the hill to where the song came from, passing the tall grass. I arrived. Hold up. We're still in dense mist. That's crazy. Let me save. It was a strange sight. The field was covered in tall grass. There were countless rocks peeking out of it. Like the boulders all over Yasumizu, these were only up to my waist. They looked like gravestones. The fields extended into the dusky western sky before ending off at a cliff. This was the lowest spot at Yasumizu, border to Saranaga. There was a large pine right at the edge. The evening sun, the stones, the pine's shadow gave the field a strange aura. The little girl was running through it. Her steps were awkward. At this moment, the space was alien. I felt like I was looking at Giorgio di Chirico painting. The place felt like it didn't belong in this world. Suddenly, I came to understand that this place was special. It was a sacred, mystical ground where no outsiders were welcome. The girl fell. I run to with no hesitation, the little girl. Hope up. Half crying girl, muddy clothes, and you gaze. What? You graze on the band-aid covered kneecap. I console little girl push away. Run. Someone? What? Appear. Me saw once girl appear. What? Oh my god, that's the girl we saw earlier. Girl weaving incomprehensible phrase high behind little girl. What is going on? Oh god. Girl hug little girl warned me? What is this arrow? Oh no. Waiting to save again. I know we just saved, but probably gonna die here, not gonna lie. Oh god. Me girl behind mist. Miss, me girl behind miss. What is going on here, guys? Miss, me girl behind miss. Oh my god. Me, turn around, run. Where? By the days I came back to the plaza, suddenly Chiemi shook me, bringing back to my senses.
ごめん。すぐ作業に戻るから。
He doesn't sound right. Oh no, they didn't tell him about this earlier? I couldn't understand what she was getting at. I couldn't understand. What were these two doing? What scared them so much? It didn't take long for me to find out. I looked down at the hill from Sarananga. Beyond the field I'd just seen came a rising haze. It was so dense you could easily call it mist. It moved strangely, like a living creature as it flowed into the plaza. You might want to run. Chiemi pulled me by the hand. Ooh, not good. He feels like he's in a daze. Why doesn't he just follow her?
Oh
my god, we're gonna die, aren't we? Albeit hesitantly, I did as she said. We ran up the hill and crossed the rice path until we made it to a simple outhouse.
本当、何事なんだ？確かにすごい霧だけど、そんな慌てることじゃ。
いい？春明さん。詳しく説明してる時間はない。だから、お願いだから、今から言うことを絶対に守って。今から一晩、ここに入って、鍵をかけて、絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
My mind was pretty clear by this point, so much that I began to wonder why it was so clouded until now. Oh, maybe did the mist or like the girl or something like made his mind like clouded? Because he didn't look well, like he looked like he wasn't in it when she called out to him earlier. Because of that, I could easily understand what Chiemi just said despite how weird it was. I could also see she was really desperate. What is this? X3, X8, X19, Jesus.
またとんでもない指示が来たもんだ。
春明さん。
言っとくけど相当な無茶ぶりだからね。ノルマクリアの暁には相当な見返りと説明を要求するから。
うん、いいよ。全部話す。だから今晩を生き延びて。
The words, the cherry smile. None of it looked fake.
じゃあね。君も急ぐんでしょ？うん。
それじゃ、春明さん。
Oh no.
何？
明日。
Yeah, there will be tomorrow. One of us will be dead. Leaving me one hell of a homework assignment. Chiemi ran off. The plaza was covered in mist by now. I could see it rising to take over the fields too. Anyway, a promise was a promise. I'm scared, guys. I feel like we're gonna die. 10 minutes later, I began to wonder what I was doing. Was I really supposed to spend the night here? You dumb fuck, spend the night in here like she told you. Did she look like she was joking? No. This outhouse wasn't like a prefab you'd find in the construction sites. It was just a shack built by hand. It merely happened to have a toilet unit installed. It was Japanese style, so I couldn't even sit down. All I could do was stand. Another problem. It was the type of toilet that periodically had to be pumped empty, so the smell was really bad. Sure, there was a cover on the toilet unit, but without any kind of air freshener anywhere, the smell of ammonia could only do so much. The only good thing about here was that if I had to go to the toilet, well, mission complete, but what of it? Again, was I really supposed to spend the night here? The question quickly made me realize how stupid this was, and I began making assumptions to make this easier for myself. Stop, don't do that. Was I being pranked? Or was everyone here just crazy? Hell, the mist had already filled the surroundings, and there was no way that this shabby outhouse protected me from it. Stop, don't walk out there, you dumb. The air here already felt misty and damp. The temperature here was low, so I could still bear it somewhat, but staying here all night would make me all wet. Better than being all dead. Again, I wasn't safe from the mist here. Really? That considered, I'd probably be better off sleeping in the grass outside than staying here. No, this is the unreasonable part of your mind. The reasonable part of my mind urged me to stop playing along with these hicks. However...
今から一晩、ここに入って、鍵をかけて、絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
Did we make a choice yet or no? Okay.
うん、いいよ。全部話す。だから、今晩を生き延びて。
Why don't they hide together? There's no space in the house. My sense of duty made it hard for me to break the promise I'd made to her. Actually, that wasn't quite true. I was more intrigued by the prospect of learning more about this place. Anyway, I took the time to compile what I found out today. This is the Yasumizu settlement, a special part of Fujiyoshi. It was situated right next to the Sarananga Rapids. Yes, we're over here, excuse me. The people living here were Chiemi Serizawa, Esunaga Oribe, his family Kaori Oribe and Yoshisugu Oribe, Shikamochi Kamoshida, Haru Makishima, her granddad Kanzo Makushima. So who's related to the other boy, the younger schoolboy, Tai Yamawaki, Takumi Muro, Kyunosuke Nasato. It seemed like he was from Kamifu Jiyoshi, the place on the other side of the mountain, but for some reason he lived here now. And finally, the old man who cried wolf. Those were the 11 people I met, and Chiemi said I had 2 more left. That could only meant the 2 I had met by that pine were the ones. The little girl, she was probably that child who strayed into Sarananga yesterday morning. There was that fantastical-looking, white-haired woman clad in strange clothing. She's probably the one I seen this morning. The fact I seen her twice made it likely that she was indeed real. But with how mysterious this place was, I couldn't rule out the possibility she was an illusion. According to Chiemi, the little girl was being looked after by someone in the village, so I could only assume that the white-haired woman was the one. If I counted the little girl, it would mean that Yasumizu had 13 inhabitants. Then there were 2 journalists, Hisako Mamiya and Yurai Hashimoto. Add me to that, and you had a total of 3 outsiders, but I put that aside for now. Anyways, time for an assessment. Yesterday morning, a little girl strayed into Sarananga. To make it worse, no one, not even herself, knew anything about her. She instantly got branded as an ill omen. The next day, Chiemi, who was in Sarananga for some reason, found me there. They recognized me as a proper lost person, but since I came through Sarananga, I was also branded as an ill omen. From what Kyonosuke no Satoshi said, it was safe to assume that it used to be customary to throw people like us into Sarananga. What, is that true? And then there was the mist. The girl had said something suspicious. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. I could only assume it was related to the same superstitions. After all, the mist came from Sarananga itself. Yeah, how is it scientifically logical that the mist happens? It and the river seem to be central of local customs and ideas. So I'm just wondering if like this game is more sciencey or like the magical like religious part and like the more, you know, like non-scientific parts are actually real. With that in my mind, how was it dangerous? What was gonna happen now? Yamibito, as in people from Yumi, the ancient Japanese land of the dead. Dead people came back through Saranaga, and they were corrupted. Well, that gave me a room for some wild ideas. Was there some sort of pathogen in Sarananga that rose up with the mists? Did it turn people into zombies? Was I about to be part of a Japanese Resident Evil? Wait, that was already Japanese. What if you had 10% chance to be infected by mists, but 100% chance to be infected by another person? That'd explain why everybody had to isolate themselves like this. Is that why they have to like... Oh my god, isolate person by person? Interesting. If I became a zombie, I probably wouldn't have the mind to unlock the door. Don't unlock the door. So basically, by locking myself in here, I was quarantining myself. I hadn't put all that much thought into that, but that seemed like a good story. Sure, stuff like the boulders and wolves didn't fit anywhere into my idea, but it was still interesting. And again, I knew this was a Hicksville and all, but would a superstition that science could so easily explain really survive the modern world? It seems so weird.
今から一晩ここに入って鍵をかけて絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
Don't make a sound? To be frank, the reason why I spent so much time in these delusions was because I was scared of things I didn't know or understand. In the past, people used to attribute stuff like natural phenomena and diseases to the gods, devil, yokai, and then do nothing but fear them. They were scared of these manifestations of monsters and whatnot, but on the other hand, was it better than not seeing or not knowing what they really were? The fact that you could die to things you couldn't see or understand made life really unreasonable and unfair. That was why it was very logical to give these things names and mental images in order to recognize and memorize them. My fear of things I didn't know was just the same, except I wasn't satisfied with just labels or hypotheses. I needed to reach the truth. That aside, what I was feeling right now wasn't the fear of the unknown. It was a realistic, practical fear of something that could endanger my life.
今から一晩ここに入って鍵をかけて絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
That meant that outside lurked something dangerous that could hear sounds. Perhaps it was the so-called dead that rose up from the river. Or maybe, assuming that I was right with my Sarananga sickness theory, it was people who came out and beat the shit out of all the diseased who didn't follow the rules. The wolf is coming. Maybe the wolf was the title given to the killer? Who was it? Suddenly, I heard a scream in the distance. No, it won't let me stay in. Oh no, my only chance is to go out and be a dumb idiot. We're gonna die. I had no choice. Wow, that was some timing. Right, as I was about to form a new hypothesis, the proof connecting it all suddenly came to me. It was right outside. It had gotten really dark and there were no lights anywhere. The darkness was fear. Unperceived equal unknown equal dangerous equal scary. Leaving this place is dangerous. Dangerous equals scary, 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 scary. What is this? Scary things were scary no matter how much logic you applied. But I couldn't discard my desire to get the known, the fear, and conquer it. I opened the door and stopped in place. Get ready to die. Night wasn't absolute darkness. No matter how dark and cloudy it was, the sky always gave some bit of light to us. However, I came to understand that it could be hard to see even if there was light. Everything I saw was covered by a dense mist. Combined with the pale moonlight, it made the area seem milky. It made it hard to get around. Regardless, I couldn't ignore the scream. There was something beyond this veil. I kept moving forward to my death. Unless my ears were deceiving me, the scream belonged to a woman and had come from the right. I couldn't let myself think that, or rather, I didn't want to think that. The unknown was scary. Personally, I found that principle made my life really easy. I had more than enough fear from those which directly threatening my life. I really didn't want to have fear of losing someone as well. Change your line of thought, Haruki. Solving the mystery might save someone. 2 birds with 1 stone. It looks like he's gonna die. I began walking faster. Another scream. It was close. I realized I had to find a way to protect myself. I wasn't armed, so I looked for anything I could use as a weapon. I felt around to see if there were branches or anything. Sadly, all I felt was grass. I went deeper and searched the ground itself. Soon, I felt something hard. It was a rock. A moment of digging later, I took it in hand. It was a bit smaller than my hand. Almost teared up at how useless it would seem, but it was better than nothing. I looked at the base of my feet and saw the grassy ground. I could easily move forward if I checked the ground using my feet. Since I might have been closer to the danger, I had to focus on what was ahead too. Yo, I was getting a little spooked. I recognized the danger and impossible to get rid of it. I concentrated entirely on that and stepped forward. Hear the screams anymore, but I could hear other things. A wet sound, the sound of something cracking. It filled my mind with countless things I didn't want to imagine. Even so, I kept walking forward. This guy is the definition of there's no turning back. Forward, until I saw it. What the fuck is that? It's unreal. There's no way. He's dead, isn't he? Oh. My hypothesis was nothing but delusions. What is that? The truth was truly something you had to see yourself. But why? Why was it so scary in spite of being true? It wasn't supposed to exist. It couldn't exist. Yeah, that's crazy. That looked like a Pokemon monster or something. After all, it was a wolf with a humanoid body. And there were no such thing as werewolves. You're dead, bitch! And we're dead, aren't we? The next morning, oh my god, in a paddy field in Fujiyoshi, Yasumizu, 3rd block, someone discovered a thoroughly mangled corpse. The clothes nearby led the discoverers to conclude that it was a traveler, Haruki Fusaishi. Oh no. He's still moving. Strangely enough, I could perceive this particular moment. And so I... Oh my god, is he seeing his body from above? What? Was finished off by the girl. What's happening? So he wasn't dead, but they thought he was like a cursed spirit and killed him? What does that mean? The last thing I heard. I'll hang the... do they think I'm a wolf? Was that? What happened? What? There's so many mysteries and questions. Unveiled arrival. Okay, so what now? Oh, I get a key. You can view in the keys list. Route unlocked by this key is represented by the same number in the scenario chart. Game over. Bad ending number 2. What's number 1? Watch hint corner? What does that mean? We're just gonna say yes to see what this is.
Yo! やっちまったな、大将。俺のことは、まあ気にすんな。ここは夢と夢の狭間。妻子春明とかいう野郎つっても、ヒントコーナーにふさわしく、大将が困らねえようにありがてえ助言をいくつ。まず、ゲーム的なあれこれ、さっき、やっちまったと言ったが、実は大将が最初にここに来るのは確定事項だ。つうのも、選べる選択肢は一つしかなかったろ。その下はなんか、鍵おっと。だからって、最初の芹沢千恵美とのスラバカボンドを選び直しても無意味だぜ。 チュートリアルでも一応解説したが、念のため、レイジングループの仕組みをおさらいしとくか。大将がさっき実際に食らった通り、レイジングループでは必ず死ぬ。なぜか。多くの選択肢は6、キーはシナリオ中に散らばってる。手に入るときは大体命と引き換えさ。どうやら久石春明の野郎は死んでも記憶を次に持ち越せるらしいな。つうわけで羊さんから大将への最初のアドバイスだ。行き詰まったら死んでみる。数あるバッドエンドの中にはキーが手に入るものも多い。意外な結末からキーが手に入ることもあるだろうさ。もちろん全部のバッドエンドを見なくても必要なキーを集めて最短クリアすることは可能だ。遊び方は任せるぜ。
So not all bad endings will give us keys, but depends. Like my playing style is like to do the right thing. So I don't know if that's good or bad for this game.
で、今回のバッドエンドに題して、だが次はもう問題ない。キー2の内容は、要は夜出歩いたらし、この手の一度つまずく系の死亡エンドは今後も一方、キーを手に入れるのがずっと先になることもある。キーが手に入るときは赤文字ででっかく表示されるから、今後もこの後だが、久石春明は振りだ。最初から読み直してもいいが、今後何十回も死ぬことになるから。だから、ある程度例えば今この瞬間でも、画面に出、シナリオチャートからのジャンプを、ちなみにここまでで、2、今回解放された選択肢を選べば、いよいよ最初のメインルート、3、4、次にロックされた選択肢が出てきたら、右端の方を見てみな。開くために必要なキーの番号があるはずだ。番号はシナリオチャートにも表示される。どこがロックされてるのか、何番のキーが、ちなみに、1が手に入るのはすっげー先だ。取りこぼしとかじゃねえから安心して、サクサク次に進んでやってくれ。
You know, like when he's like, let's go back and there's another one, maybe that's the one.
つうわけで、今回はここまで。次もそういう夢だった。
What? Nice. Let's save. Let's save. What's detail chart? Oh, I see. I guess these are other choices. Okay. What does this mean? Okay, I see. So we jump here. Wait, I don't want to go all that far. Yo, how do I stop? How do I stop at the place where I make a choice? Okay, wait, how do I prevent that? Oh, I see, I can see more now. Oh, wow, okay, we see a lot more. Tiny Hawk, like, this. We go here. So that means you die, okay, keep still. What was that? It sounded like someone's life was in danger. It meant something dangerous was nearby. Wait, I couldn't be rash. The world didn't have many things that logic couldn't explain, like the existence of murders, but until I saw the source of the scream myself, it was nothing but a source of fear.
今から一晩ここに入って鍵をかけて絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
I reached to open the door, but something stayed my hand. It was my promise to Chiemi. But that scream just now was very real. It wasn't normal. I had to assume the situation was dangerous and maybe I could help out if I went out. But that meant endangering myself. I was no saint and I had no plans to rectify that. If that were something that could get me to walk out, it would be curiosity. My curiosity had won over many dangers so far, but right now, it was weaker than my fear and risk of death. Why? Because I already knew. Shit, what the hell are these memories? It wasn't a premonition, a dream, or anything else that vague. My brain recognized as something I experienced, but how? After all, I was so alive and all the time from those memories had yet to come. Was I a precog or something? By God, I swear I never experienced anything like this before coming here. And why did the memory come back to me at this particular moment? Regardless, that overwhelming fear and the pain and death that followed were exactly what waited for me if I opened the door. I couldn't feel more certain of that. The thoughts rendered me unable to move. Immobile. I stood still, completely certain that I lost my chance to leave. I wasn't childish enough to sneer at selfish decisions, but this still didn't feel good. Not to mention I was upset at myself for not being able to act like me and just run out simply because I was curious. I didn't even feel saved. Until that moment. Suddenly, the door began to shake. This place had a handle, and someone was pulling on it hard. That was a lock, sure, but there was only so much it could take before it broke. I prepared to pull on it from inside, but...
今から一晩ここに入って鍵をかけて絶対に物音一つ立てないで。
What would happen if I did? Whatever was outside would instantly know I was here. Even if I protected the door, the thing has lots of other ways of hurting me. But what if it didn't know about me and was just weirded out by this randomly locked toilet? What if I didn't show a hint of fear what it was doing? Would it just leave? I chose to wait and see. Once again, someone pulled the door, shaking the structure as a whole. I gulped down a scream and focused on the lock. If it broke, it'd be over for me. Overescent. I'd be dead. That was what the memory told me. I was powerless back then, and even more so now. God, imagine that'd be so scary. Assuming I tried to fight back, what would work? I heard that teeth were the hardest part of the human body, so maybe I could bite? Yeah, I'd teeter over if it was a part with my teeth. I don't think your teeth are that strong. You're not a wolf or a tiger or anything. I'd bite it to death. I gathered my wits and killing intent. Grinding my teeth, I glared at the door. How long had it been? The sound suddenly stopped. For all I knew, it might have been a ploy to make me drop my guard. I slowly counted 500. If nothing happened in that time, I assume it went away. There was no screams or attacks after that, but the silence around me improved my perception, and I heard strange noises every now and then. Breathing, growling, claws on the ground. Basically, I felt a beastly presence. So that thing actually existed there? What was the mist brought here? Was it what the mist brought here from Sarananga? The wolf is coming. Did they all know about this? Shit, I couldn't learn anything in a place like this, and not knowing things scared me. Trusting my presence or deja vu or whatever it was, I choose to stay quiet and wait. I'd find out everything tomorrow. I just had to make it through the night and talk to Chiemi. And if it was something I couldn't solve, I'd just run away. Thankfully, my bike repairs were going well, but I'd be leaving even if it didn't work. I'd walk to Kami Fujiyoshi if I had to. Unlike Yasumizu, they might have had reliable means of transport. For now, I just had to stay awake and make it through the night. Oh god, will he survive this time? I never like seeing the night gradually turn brighter as the morning arrives. It always made me feel like shit, like I did something harmful, both for my body and as a human being in general. I found it natural to spend the night asleep and welcome the morning well-rested and with a smile. I never expected to feel so much gratitude for the morning light leaking through the door of an outhouse. It feels like the beast had been out about the whole night. Naturally, the high humidity here had made my clothes all wet and sticky. It was unpleasant, but even trying to remove them and make it more uncomfortable for myself felt like a matter of life and death. Maybe it was a good thing I couldn't relax, but hell, it was exhausting in more ways than one. When I heard Chiemi shout, "Haruki-san" in the distance, I was so overcome with relief I almost fell to my knees. If it turned out to be a trick, I opened the door to see if some wolf with a chewed collar in its mouth lunging for my throat. I just give up and let it have me at this point. With that in mind, I opened the door. I expected to see the same picturesque village I seen yesterday, so what I actually saw shocked me pretty hard. What did he see? What the hell was up with this thick mist? I couldn't see shit. Oh, it's not gone. It was like the entire area was consumed by it. Did someone line every inch of this place with dry ice?
Haruaki-san!
I could hear Chiemi, but not.
Chiemi-chan! こっちだ!
Haruaki-san! よかった!
I heard a wet sound and finally saw a silhouette within the mist.
田にはまった
I walked up and saw exactly what I expected. A girl struggling to free one of her legs stuck deep in a paddy field.
そうか、頑張れ。
助けてって。
抜けないのね。じゃあ手を。よっと。
I tucked her hand and braced my legs. That was enough to help her, but she lost her balance and...
セーフ。
ヘッドロック。これ技。決まってる。
Despite how close we are now, this wasn't the least bit romantic.
とにかくよかった。無事だったんだ。
I definitely remember a time where I was far from alright though.
ああ、なんとかね。
And I wonder why he has this power. I had no idea what that was about, so I didn't see any reason to mention
ただ、
it.
夜中獣みたいな気配がした。
Chiemi's expressions immediately darkened. She clearly knew what I was referring to.
聞きたいことはたくさんあるけど、まず昨晩聞いた悲鳴のことが気になる。
それは。
知ってるの？
She felt silent, clearly uncomfortable. It was pretty ominous.
来て。どうせいつか嫌でも見る。
Someone died, huh? Chiemi gave me her hand. I took it, but didn't feel the least bit excited about this. She led me down a path down the school door.
あ、久石さん、無事だったんですね。
生還おめでとう、ベンジョマン。
ありがとう、温かい布団マン。君たちも無事。いや、ハルちゃんは。
So was Haru-chan attacked?
いえ、大丈夫です。
Okay.
まだ部屋なんですが、ちょっとショックが強かったみたいで、身支度に時間が。
Was it the reporter girl?
そうか。皆さん、僕より先に動いてたみたいだな。
逆によく耐えれたな。寝てたの？
寝られるか。いつ出ていいかわからないから、ずっと起きて待ってたよ。
起きてたんですか？
This Naga-kun made it sound like that was weird.
いや、あのトイレで寝てごらん。横になるどころか、座れもしないぜ。
How many hours?
いや、そうじゃなく、そうか。
What does he mean by that? I really hate it when people just trail off like that. It makes me way too curious.
ちなみに君たちはなぜここに？
はるちゃん待ちと見張りだよ。
That was important. I don't know what that was though. Look out.
状況がはっきりするまで現場に誰も近づかないようにね。
Scene. So someone actually, the reporter, huh?
見る？ベンジョマンの胃袋の強度試し。
Wow, these people like
もっち、
used to it?
あんまふざけるなよ。
ああ、見るよ。
The invisible and unknown were way scarier than anything else. Not to mention I could already smell something foul. I lightly moved aside and walked to the so-called scene. Oh god. What? Oh my god, that's horrible. There was a corpse. was in such a horrible state that it was hard to recognize as human. Oh god. I imagine this is what you would have gotten if you overturned a butcher's cart. That was how thoroughly the victim was disassembled. That's horrible. The butcher would have had to deal in entrails. Enough of that comparison. Straining my eyes to look at the thick mist, I actually make out some human parts within the vast sea of blood, or mountain of death. Hands, torn clothing, hair, and a shoulder bag. It is the reporter girl, huh? No. How professional. She kept hold of her interviewing tools even while running for her life. Didn't do her odds of survival any favors, though. Despite the body state, it wasn't hard to tell that the victim was Hisako Mamiya, the small-time food journalist. Not thing. Did it come to me once it was done murdering her?
これはひどい。
That is awful.
大丈夫？吐き気とか。
Chiaki was standing a short distance away, looking at nothing in
吐くも
particular.
のもないし、まあ
He's used to
慣れ
this?
てるん
What
で。
does he do?
春明さん、そっち系の学部だっけ？
Is he
まあ一応医学系。
studying some like criminology or something? That's why he's so distrustful in people?
え、
or law?
すごい。検視とかできる？
医学系ってのは医学部以外の類似学部生が見え張って使う表現さ。まあ病理解剖なら何度か見たけど。
I crouched down and put my hands together. Then, grimacing at the harrowing reek of blood, innards, and especially digested food. Ew. I brought my face closer. Perhaps I could learn something from this. I could, even if it wasn't much. This corpse wasn't split into pieces. The limbs were still connected, but they folded in an unnatural way and looked really flattened. They were either crushed or bent with no regard to bones or muscle position. Then her whole body had been torn apart. Her innards were particularly badly damaged. The words "wolf down" felt like it was the best way to put it. I found it hard to describe. This wasn't my job, so there wasn't much I could tell about it without touching it. Look at the chart. I wonder what this one is. There's one here too. That's a lot.
「何がどうなってるのかわからない程度には常軌を逸した傷だよね。
I had an urge to add that this seemed inhuman, but I kept myself from saying that.
とにかくとっとと警察を呼んでプロに任せよう。
I had said something any good citizen would, but for some reason they didn't seem to agree. Oh no.
春明さん、警察は来ないんだ。
Why not?
そんなことはないでしょう。人が死んでるんだし。
来ないんだ。
じゃあ避難しよう。
それも無理なんだ。
What is going on?
どうして？バイクもあるし、この人たちが乗ってきた車だって。
とにかく不採死さんで生存者は全員見つかったはずだから、
Oh my god,
一度
this is...
食堂に移動しましょう。
はるちゃんは僕らが連れてくぞ。
そっちはお願い。春明さん、行こう。
なあ、ちゃんと説明してくれないか。
Dude, they're giving us no explanation.
悪いけど精神的に無理。自分で見て勝手に理解して。
Okay. It was the first time Chiemi had acted so harsh with me. I was pretty irritated myself, but it must have been worse for them. They actually had info was what was happening.
無神経だったよ。
Chiemi had said nothing more and just silently walked off. I followed after her. When we reached the plaza, I instantly understood what she said about evacuating. The bike and van were both completely destroyed. Oh, that's sad. The latter was in a particularly bad state. The front window was broken, all 4 tires were flagged, etc. My bike was on its side. Its front fork was broken. Well, basically metal scrap metal now. Fuck. There was a rock right next to it. Guess we had our weapon. And no, is that someone else? Oh god. There were more remains inside the van. Oh god. Oh no, was it the photographer? It looked like an enormous mountain of flesh and bone. Oh no. If I didn't know about Yudai Hashimoto-shi, I would assume there were 2 or 3 corpses here. So the van doesn't protect them, huh?
Hashimoto-san?
Man. Chiemi slowly nodded. I knew we lost not only 2 lives, but any means of transportation as well.
あれ見て。
She pointed at a wooden electrical pole. The line was dangling, torn apart, with no hope.
よその電線は生きてるけど、食堂のは電話線ごとやられた。外には連絡できないよ。
I took out my own phone. It worked, but the battery was almost dead, and like before, it was out of range. The situation had become even harsher than before.
これも見て。
Chiemi walked a few steps away. I followed her. There was a large boulder. It was tall enough to reach an average roof, and there were drawings on it. A crimson symbol of some sort. What did it represent? Hey, we've seen that symbol a few times already. At first, it looked like an incoherent mess of lines. However, as soon as I realized there was a pattern. It felt like a calling card of some street gang. From what I could tell, the basis was a warped diamond shape with a spiral inside. There were 2 of them. They seemed to be drawn in blood, but that nearly wasn't as disturbing as the bizarre shape.
狼が2匹、村に紛れ込んだ。戦わなきゃいけない。
Apparently, this settlement had been invaded by something malicious, and it was intent to get rid of it. All means of escape were contacting help. I could understand that much, but it didn't make sense to me. This wasn't some isolated island. There was a cliff, sure, but you could go down to the Sarananga or go to Kamifujoshi. I'd ask about that the next time I had a chance.
気が立っちゃってごめん。春明さんだってきついでしょうに。
まあ気にしないでいいよ。所詮僕はよそ者だ。
そんなの言わないで。
ああ、言い方が悪かった。よそ者ゆえにルールがまだわからないから、もう少し静観するってこと。疲れちゃいるけど、多分普通の人よりは動揺はしてないと思うから、おとなしくしとこうってね。きっと他のご年配方はもっと殺気立ってるだろうし。
春明さん、本当にただの大学院生？
そうでなきゃなんだと？
なんか異様に落ち着いてない？まるでこういう質に慣れてるみたい。
多分大事な神経が何本か切れてるのさ。
I'm also interested about what our protagonist is, or like what he does. The small tiny hall is jam-packed with people.
てめえ、生きてやがった。
おはようございます。大変なことになったみたいですね。
ごめんなさいね。ちょっと湯飲みが足りなくて。
いえ、お構いなく。
てめえがやったのか？あ
？The younger Oribe boy menaced me.
いや、やってないよ。どうしてそうなるの？
うるせえ、入ってくるんじゃね
え。よしぼうやめろ。うるせえのはお前だ。
ああ？匠兄だって言ってただろ。こいつが怪しいって。
Talking behind our backs. Man, I hadn't been expected to be treated this badly.
ガキが出る幕じゃねえっつってんだ。それにここじゃ迷惑だ。なあ、香織さん。
匠さん。とにかく落ち着いて。穏やかにね。
大丈夫だ。ちゃんと話は聞く。
ナムシン内大権現。ナムシン内大権現。
やめえたえば縁起でもねえ。それより集会堂の鍵はどこだ？
植松様に預けたわよ。2、3日前お団を直すんじゃって。
姉ちゃん
取って参ります。
that was the woman. So she wasn't just an illusion. Uematsu-sama was her name, huh? I thought our eyes met for a second, but she just walked by me.
メイコちゃん、ちょっと待っててね。
That girl was here too. Deeper in, there's a Kyonosuke Satoshi, really irritated by something. Not too far away, there was the old man who cried wolf. Just like yesterday, it was hard to tell what he was looking at, let alone thinking. They were the only ones sitting, by the way. The others were all just idly standing around.
母さん、皆さん、戻りました。
はるちゃん、こっち。
The 3 students were here. With them, the settlement's entire population had gathered. As for outsiders, the journalists were dead, while I and the mysterious girl had survived. I didn't know the circumstances, but they probably had their reasons to be suspicious of me. Yeah, he definitely looks suspicious right now. Suddenly, Chemi did something unexpected.
リカ子さん、ちょっと待ってもらえる？
She stopped the girl who was about to go get some key. Each villager seemed to call her differently, so I didn't know what to call her myself.
この人、房石春明さん。皿長でバイク事故に遭った人。
あ、どうも。
An introduction? Now? Why?
こちら、植松里香子さん。回るに末で植松。珍しいでしょ？上富士吉の長者、植松家の現当主様。
植松里香子と申します。お見知りおきください。
Oh. So she was like a local celebrity, huh? Like Kyonosuke, she's Nasoto family?
あと、そっちのがメイコちゃん。名前がわかんないからそう呼んでるだけだけど。
こんにちは。よろしくね。
The girl they called Meiko trembled a bit and sprinted through the crowd to hide behind Rikako Uematsu.
で、なんだっつうんだ、ちえみ。
私は、房石春明さんを宴に呼ばないことを提案します。
What is the feast? What is this feast they speak of? I felt a wave of perplexion go through the room.
じい、買って言ってんじゃねえ。
Oh, he seemed
そ
mad.
いつが怪しいか怪しくねえかを宴で決めるんだろ。
Their expressions were stern and their words harsh.
違います。私は、彼がそもそも宴に参加する資格がないと言ってるの、匠。
何言ってんだ、知恵ね。そいつが一番怪しいっつーの。
よし君、宴の支度した？
はぁ？したよ。
しなかった人いる？
How was I supposed to react? No one else was raising their hands, but I had no idea what they were talking about.
多分、はい。何のことかわからないんで。
宴の支度をしなかったから、あの二人は汚れを受けた。でも、春明さんは受けていない。私は、狼様が彼を無視していると思ってる。
Okami-sama, as in the wolf-sama? Why the reverence? And what was she even talking
皿
about?
長から来た人ではあるけど、彼は本当にただ通り過ぎただけ。むしろ宴の邪魔になる。いえ、むしろ宴に混ぜれば狼様の怒りを買って何が起きるかわからないとすら思う。
ばあちゃん、どう思う？
あんた、ほんまに支度をせんと無事だったんかね？
Preparation.
ちなみに支度って？
みそぎ、物意味、夢枕。
Oh, so maybe the fact that he didn't dream was something that...
体を清める。一つの建物に一人で閉じこもる。眠って夜明けを待つ。この三つ。
じゃあ守ってないですね。トイレに一人で入りましたけど、風呂も入らず一晩徹夜しましたから。
Place got all noisy. They probably didn't expect that
わ
answer.
からんね。初めてよ。そんなことを聞いたのは。
Taisen sounded genuinely puzzled.
リカ子さん、どう思われます？
I had no idea what kind of dynamics were at work here, but Chiemi asked for Rikako Uematsu's opinion.
私も神内明神が裁かれないのなら、この方は山の掟の拉致外におられるのでしょう。
そういうことです。
ちえみ、分かってんのか。そいつを外すってことは。
うん、大切な宴1日分、無駄な人をくくらずに済むね。
おやっさん、どうするんだ。
About it, but in the end, once again, the one to make the final call was Kanzo Makishimashi.
こいつは宴から外す。
おやっさん。
じゃが。
Glaring directly at me, the old man walked through the gathering and approached me. Seeing him from up close, I realized just how big and burly he was. It was pretty typical of someone living in a place like this, but it felt out of place in someone around his age. His expression displays both an inner strength to match his physique and a profound rage.
山の掟が通じねえなら、わしらの取り決めに従ってもらう。
Okay, what are your rules?
さもなくば、わしがてめえを殺す。
He said, "Got the gun and go pow pow." He spoke slowly yet decisively. Man, this was uncomfortable.
ちょっと待て。彼が外されるというのならば。私やリカコさんも外していただけんかね。
あ、なんでだよ。
我々は上藤吉の人間だぞ。皿長の事情に付き合う必要はない。
野里様、そうはいきません。宴の日にいりゃ、野里も上松も三車も樋口も関係ありゃせんです。
おっちゃん、その理屈だったら僕もやっすんもサボってよくなる？
廃着されたものは話は別だろ。どうして今現在4家に属している者がこんなバカに付き合わなきゃならない。
The four families are all connected?
あのよ、キヨ。
気安く呼ぶな、ムロ。行きましょう、リカコさん。こんなもの付き合う義理はない。
いいえ、野里様。藤吉に住むものならば義理がないとは言えぬでしょう。皆等しく神内様の手のひらの上、それがこの安水という皿の上に。
しかし文句がありゃどこへでも行け。汚れで死ぬのが関の山よ。
Kyunosuke, she eventually fell silent, and Rikako left to go get the key, probably. She returned in no time, and everybody began leaving.
てめえは別のとこだ。
What's going on?
はい。どこに行けば？
匠、奥の檻、使えるか？
Put us in a cage?
そりゃ、使えるけど。あ、わかった。連れてって。
They're gonna put us in a cage. I don't know how I feel about that one.
あんた、こっちだ。
Everyone went to some hall near the village plaza while Takumi led me elsewhere. We made our way through the tall grass between the buildings. At the dead end next to the wild trees and rocky cliff, there was a large cage. It even had a roof and would be passed for a hut of a bit of work.
生け捕りにした獅子を入れとくような檻だ。悪いが、ここに入っといてもらう。
Live game? What is going on?
拒否権はないってわけですか。
悪く思うな。みんなが宴をやってる間だけだ。そう長くはかからねえ。
詳しい話を聞くのも無理、と。
ああ、そうだな。悪いとは思うが、宴に出んで済むだけで幸運と思ってくれ。
They keep talking about it. How was I supposed to feel that way if I didn't even know what the feast was? Yeah. I'd have asked, but he looked pretty irritated. Probably because he wanted to get it over with, so I kept my mouth shut. The floor of the cage was mostly gravel, with spaces of wheat and other things littered about. There was a vague but very clear scent of beasts.
ここ、横になっていいでしょうか。 眠れる時に寝といた方が良さそうだ。
ずいぶんずぶといな、あんた。
単に臆病なだけ。死にたくないだけですよ。
That was why I abandoned those people. After Takumi-san locked me in and left, I laid down and closed my eyes. The ground was hard and it reeked pretty bad, but it was still an improvement over the outhouse. I should have taken the time to think about what the villagers had said, about my strange memories, and about how I could get the hell out of here. That was what I wanted to do, but I knew that I'd just be swept away by an unproductive spiral of regret if I went down that rabbit hole. Had I always been this admirable of a person? Another thing. For some reason, I felt like I spent the entirety of this time just watching the battle, so I decided I'd focus on resting, in preparation of what was to come.
みんな座りんさった。
What is going on?
読み意味の宴を始めましょうね。
What is this?
植松様、お願いしますよ。
Okay, at least we get to see what's happening inside, even though, like, the protagonist isn't there.
神内様に献上されたおみきです。年少者から順に回し飲みしてください。
お酒？
Yeah, give a little kid sake.
あなたはお口をつけるだけ。
未成年者を飲むなよ。
一杯くらいどうってことねえよ。
やめなさい、義継。安永も何か言ってやって。
義継、あくまで形だけのものだから。
うるせえな。分かってるよ、兄貴。
こんなの飲みたくない。
はるちゃん、チュッてして。はい、終了。僕も終了。
僕もこれで。知恵ね。
What is this? Passing around a cup of sake?
ここから大人ね。いただきます。
Okay, she gets drinking.
私はこのくらいで。
存外にいい酒だな。
Did they all share one cup of sake? That's so little.
昼間っから酒が飲めるとは宴様々だな。ほらよ、おやっさん。
耐えばこぼすなよ。
はいはい、いただきます。
Oh, I guess that guy's.
おじいさん、モテるかいね。
Oh, I guess they're all sitting by age too, huh? Like the youngest to the oldest, or not exactly, but well, they're more on the older side here.
酒か。
The guy could barely breathe.
一通り回ったか。耐えば説明せ。
みんなお話は知っておるね。夕霧が立つとき、狼様はよみがえり、人を亡きにせんとされる。よもつ狼のお印が2つ。こたび、狼様がお二人を血戻られた。じゃからあたしらは、神内様の言う通り、こうして宴して、お守り様の加護のもと、狼様を探して、くくらねばいかん。従わずば神内様は汚れを下される。汚れを受けたくなくば宴に出て狼様を亡きにする。
お姉ちゃん、亡きにするって何？
殺すという意味よ。
怖い。
大丈夫、私が守ってあげるから。遮って申し訳ありません、山脇さん。
ええのですよ、小さい子のすること。狼様かもしれんのはその子だけじゃございません。
やれやれ、くだらん話ですな。
おいおっさん、くだらねえならとっとと出ていけや。そんで汚れで死んじまえ。
義継、お前。
失礼だが織部さん、自分の子にどんな教育をなさっているのかね。
俺は勝手にグレてんだ。ババを巻き込んでんじゃねえや。
義継、黙れ。ぶん殴るぞ。
ああ、匠にまで何威張ってんだよ。
殴るっつったら殴る。よしも清も一緒だ。お前らちょっと黙れ。
貴様にそんな根性はなかろう。
sorry to see him get punched.
言われてんぜ。
大人は無駄に根性試しをしねえ。それはともかくタイばあちゃん、俺やっぱり納得できねえよ。その話俺らはずっと聞かされてきたが、ずっとわからねえことがある。俺らはずっとここで育ってきた。メイコ以外はみんな顔見知りだ。
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Especially the old people, like they've been here forever. Like, so do they get replaced or something? Like, how does it work?
狼様が入れ替わってるって、そんなわけねえよ。みんな普段通りだ。
匠、甘えこと言ってんじゃねえ。
なんだよおやっさん、怪しい奴がいるっつうのか。
どいつも怪しい。
Everyone's shady, okay.
おじいちゃん。
春も気をつけ。けだものでも人を騙す。人ならなおさらよ。こん中にわしらを騙して平然としとるもんはおる。
なんでそう断言できるんです？
How do they know?
昔の門の言葉には真実が。
Oh, not the ancestors.
まあいいですけど。
Wait, that's his only explanation? That's horrible.
安水のパープーの言ってきたことだろ。
近持ち。
あんたはまたそんな。
Wait, I don't
も
remember ever
っ
seeing
ちやめ
her.
とけっ
What?
て。すみません。それでどうするんですか？
どうって話し合いで決めんだろ。
話し合いで決まるのかな。しかもこの中の誰かを殺すという決定をでしょう。
全員が自分の考えを言う。それで納得のいく意見を絞り込む。
Wow, this sounds horrible. This just sounds like the freaking like the witch lynchings or something like that, and like people just randomly accusing people. And
知恵ね、
that's horrible.
どう思う？
少なくとも全員怪しくないと思う人と全員怪しいと思う人がいる時点で破綻してると思うけど、決まるはずのない会議を延々やっても苦痛なだけ。それに耐えかねてみんな偉い人の鶴の一声を望み始めるし。
地位は何が言いて。
ちえみ、あんま心配すんな。俺らは安水の釜の飯食って暮らしてきた者同士だぞ。なんとかなる。
匠兄ちゃんの仲間思いなとこすごく嬉しいけど、その仲間から一人選んで殺すんだよ。もっと嫌なこともあるよ。仲間から選びたくなかったら仲間じゃない人から選べばいい。自分がそんなに好きじゃない人とか、ここに来て日が浅い人とか、少なくともそういう理由では絶対に選ばないようにしないと大変な間違いをしちゃうんじゃないかな。
だから俺はそもそも殺すとか頭おかしいからやめようぜって方向にまとめてんだよ。
匠、それはいかん。
ばあちゃんだってこう言い出す。だからじっくり話して。
Why are they doing this again? Like, what's the scientific reason for that besides the
わかるけど
ancestors?
ね。
ちょっと。はーい、はるちゃんが喋ります。
知恵姉が連れてきた男が記者の人たち殺したとか、そういうのないのかな。
言ってるそばから。
僕はないと思うよ。勘だけど。みんなどうですか？
匠にあいつが怪しいっつってたろ。
ああ、怪しいと思ったさ。しかしちえみの言う通り、そんな理由じゃ決めねえ方がいいだろう。
Yeah, I would think if I was like one of these people, I'd also think he's shady, so I understand where
それ
they're
に
coming from.
あいつは変なやつだが、ああいうことをやりそうなやつじゃないような気がする。
それは私も賛成だけどね。とにかく私たちの問題なんだから、私たちで解決するべきだと思う。
ふん、それだって好みで選んでることに他ならんだろう。
じゃあ清之助さんはどうやって決めるべきだと思
They're
います？
getting nowhere here.
結局こういった場で決める手段といえば多数決しかないものだよ、織部安永君。
民主主義万歳ってわけです。らしくもないですね。
私はそれ以外にこれだけの人間の意見をまとめる手段など存在しないと言っているのだよ。第一、話し合いで納得というのも 結局は大多数が合意する結論を取るということだろう。多数決に他ならん。そうでなければ、それこそ君の言った鶴の一声、つまり有力者の独断で決まることになるのだろう。安水の有力者とは牧島勘三しかね、それとも山脇多江さんかね。そして殺されるのは住人でない私か。当のお偉方本人が狼かもしれないという状況でだ。バカらしいと思わないかね。
野里さん、
言っておくが、私は死ぬのはごめんだ。それならばせめて無力より一票の力を保てる方法を望みたいね。
俺は反対だ。多数決だ。そりゃ結論は出るだろうよ。正しいかどうかは別としてな。
Okay, so if it's not majority rule,
俺はやっぱりちゃんと話し合って決めるしかねえと思う。
Is this the first time you've ever done this or what?
ちなみに話し合いをするとなると何を話し合うんです？
Exactly.
タイばあちゃん、宴には山のお守りの力を貸すって話だよね。
そうよ。蛇様、猿様、カラス様、それに雲様が力をお貸しくださる。
詳しいことわかる？
Maybe that place, remember he avoided one of the dirt paths? Maybe he's supposed to go down the dirt path.
蛇はうわっ、じじい知ってんのかよ。蛇は狼が誰か山に聞ける。猿だけ2匹おる。お互いが猿じゃと知っておる。カラスはくくられたもんが狼じゃったかどうか。雲は狼から一晩だけ他人を守ってやれるよう山に頼める。
This definitely sounds like
そ
mafia.
の通りじゃと私も聞いておりますよ。
狼来たの。
あんたこれを知っとったのですか。あんたボケとるかと思うたが信心があったのね。
おじいちゃんのことは置いといて、じゃあこの中の誰かがそれぞれの力を受けてるはずだってこと？
それってどういうこと？というか神様とかお守りとか本当にあるの？ただ昔話になぞらえて誰かが人殺しをしてるだけじゃ。
はるちゃんや神様はちゃんとおる。
そんなの信じてるだけでしょ。
そんなことはない。みんな生まれてからこれまでに神内様のお姿を見とるはずじゃ。
そんなのただの。
はるちゃん落ち着いて。大丈夫？
ごめん。
真偽はともかく今は分かってることを情報として整理するところだよ。いろいろと決めるのはまだ早い。さっきのお守りの加護の話もっと分かりやすくしよう。
若い子はもっとちゃんと昔の話を覚えんといかんね。
蛇は見破る、猿は手を取る、カラスは味を見る、雲は守る。
蛇は大衆に紛れた狼を発見することができた。ちなみに蛇は身車家の守護獣でもある。猿は守護する者同士が狼でないことを確実に知っている。猿は樋口家の守護獣でもあります。カラスは死んだ者が狼かどうか知ることができる。我が野里家の守護獣がカラスだ。
貧乏くさいよね。
黙れ。そして雲は誰かの家に狼が入ることを防ぐ。雲は植松家を守護している。
そうですね。それぞれの家の門にもそれぞれのお守りがあしらわれています。
でも実際はそれぞれの加護を受けた人は どうやってその力を借りるんだろう。
蛇は夜、他の生きとるもんの名前を何かに書いて枕の下に置いて寝る。翌朝、それが人か狼様か神内様に教えてもらえるそうよ。猿は2人おって加護を受けた時にもう一人の猿が誰かを神内様に教わるそうじゃ。カラスは前の日にくくられたもんが人かどうか知れるそうだわね。雲は他の生きとるもんの名前を何かに書いて枕に敷けば、そのもんは一晩狼様から守られる。そうしてお守り様方の力を借りて、あたしらはくくる一人を選ばねばならんという狼様をみんなくくれば勝ち。狼様にみんなやられれば負けよ。ヤス君、
わかりました。けど
そもそもばあちゃん、どっからそんなの聞いたんだ？
あたしはあたしのおばあちゃんに聞いたのよ。
とにかくそれじゃあ長者それぞれの血筋の人がそれぞれの加護を受けてるってことよね。
それはどうかな。身車家の縁者は絶縁者含めてここにはいないし。
宴でお守りが誰に力を授けるかは気まぐれだと。
じゃあ誰なの？
下手に明かせば狼様に狙われるかもしれない。
んなこと言ってたらそれこそ何も話が進まねえだろ。
そうかしら。例えば
めんどくせえ。ダラダラしてても話が進まねえだけだ。みんな聞いてくれ。蛇の守護を受けたのは俺だ。
匠にそれは本当なの？
言い忘れておったよ。お守りはね、夢枕に立つ。そして選ばれた者に印を残す。お力をお借りするならば、頼りにしたためて枕元に入れればいい。
そうだ、俺にも印があった。夢は正直覚えてね
えが。蛇は見破る。じゃあ匠兄ちゃんにはこの場の誰が狼かもう分かってるってことなの？
いや、さっき言ったじゃろう。頼りにしたためねばならん。それも選べるのは一夜に一人だけ。
明日の朝になるまで分からないってこと？
そうじゃ。
一つ聞いていいかね、ムロ。
なんだよ。
君はどうしてそんな極めて重大な情報を何のリターンもないこのタイミングで開示したのだ？
どうしてって、他に決める材料がねえから。
聞いた限りだと蛇の能力はとても大事です。狼にとっては非常に手強い相手だと言える。だからそれを簡単に明かしてしまうと匠兄が危ないってことに。
そんなもん怖くねえよ。
なぜ怖くないと言えるんだね、君は。相手はあんな風に人を殺す化け物だぞ。
なんだ、化け物とか信じてるじゃん。
今のは言葉のあやだ。とにかく今我々は一つの武器を失ったということになる。
勝手に決めてんじゃねえ。お前に何がわかるってんだ。おい、
わかるとも。皆様聞いていただきたいのですがね、この場で何か言えばそれは狼に情報提供していることでもあるんだ。明かさなくていいことは明かさずに話を進めるべきだ。そうではないかね。
そうですね。それで一つ思いついたことがあるんですけど。
今私が喋っているんだ。
黙れ兵六。やつ言え。
匠兄が正体を明かしたことを極力有効に利用するには彼を雲に守ってもらうのがいいと思う。この中にいる雲は正体を明かさずに夜 頼りをしたためるとかして匠兄を守るのがいい。これで匠兄は助かる。どうかな？
Makes sense. Well, I was thinking.
いいんじゃねえか。
ヤス、おやっさん。
匠は今日安全になる。蛇にこうて誰かを調べ。
匠兄ちゃんが明日調べた結果は間違いなく正しいってことね。
そうなるね。
匠兄ちゃん、誰を調べてどんな結果が出ても嘘を言わないって誓える？
そんなもん決まってるさ。
じゃあ今日はそれでいいんじゃない？何の証拠もないのに誰かを殺すとか言う。
本当にそれでいいのかよ。何かまずいと思うのか？よし。
別にただ待つってのが性に合わねえだけだ。
Oh my god, this hot-headed.
それはわかるけど。あ、でも匠兄が誰を調べるかはみんなの前で言っておいた方がいい。
どうして？
匠兄が誰かを調べてその結果が匠兄に不都合だった時、別の人を占ったって嘘つくのを防げる。
嘘なんてつかねえよ。
合理的だな。安水のもの。
別に匠兄ちゃんに限らないでしょ。身内は誰だってかばいたいもん。あと利点がもう一つ。誰を優先的に調べたらいいかって点は少なくともみんなで話し合えるでしょ。
そうだな。そのくらいの話し合いはしておきてえところだ。ちなみに安永は誰がいいと思う？
僕はちょっとわからないけど、それこそ不当に選ばれそうな人は先に調べておいた方が安心かな。
では私を調べてもらえないか。正直なところを言えばそうでもないと発言権すら得られなさそうなのでね。
なくったって喋るんじゃん。
じゃあキヨを調べる。それでいいか？
異論はねえな。じゃあ今日は誰も鶴さん。
本当にそれでいいのかね？
ああ、大丈夫だ。これで解散。
本当に寝てる。あ、起きた。
今日のは終わったぞ。待たせたな。
それはよかった。いたたたた。その、宴とかっていうのは単なる儀式なんです。不吉を退けるような類の。
Yeah, you know what? I think I don't know if they're explaining it to him or something, but you know what? I feel like this video has been kind of long, and I feel like I should just like leave the rest off to like the next episode. So yeah, maybe like next time someone will die and then we'll realize like Kyo isn't the wolf, because I feel like, of course, the first person he investigates is not going to be the wolf. I think. So yeah, I think we'll like end it here and see what happens next time. But thank you all for watching. I think so far like this game has been really interesting so far. I know we haven't had the chance to make much choices yet, but I know down the line we definitely will get to make those choices more. So yeah, I am excited to play more of this, and we'll catch you all next time when I do. Bye!